I'm Jerry from Jerry's Landscape. We do irrigation, tree removal, landscaping. We pretty much do it all. You know, I can landscape the heck out of a property. That's never really been a problem for me. It's gotta go. I've had a tough time with accounting, with my bookkeeping, but then I came up with this amazing system that has really been a game changer for me. This side of the dash here, this is all the invoices. This side of the dash is gonna be expenses. Then I've got any miscellaneous receipts or anything like that that goes in the back seat. Then of course anything tax related, you know, I don't even know what half that stuff is, but anything from ERS, that's gonna go right here on the passenger side floorboard. I've even got a place for customer complaints. right out here. I'm kidding. Actually, it's not really the best to even open the windows at all. Blow everything around. Is it a perfect system? No. I can't use the defrost in my truck, which sucks. You know, having passengers, that doesn't always work out so well. But it's a small price to pay. We're meticulous. Every transaction matters, period. Okay, I mean, the system, that's what I love about it. It's virtually foolproof. Well,
you could be anywhere doing a lot of different things, but you chose to be here.
Some shows don't need a celebrity narrator to introduce the show, but this show does. In a world filled with endless opportunities, why would two men who have built 13 multi-million-dollar businesses altruistically invest 5 hours per day to teach you the best practice business systems and moves that you can use? Because they believe in you, and they have a lot of time on their hands. They started from the bottom, now they're here. It's the Thrivetime show starring the former U.S. Small Business Administration's Entrepreneur of the Year, Clay Clark, and the entrepreneur trapped inside an optometrist's body, Dr. Robert Zuttner. 2 men, 8 kids, co-created by 2 different women, 13 multi-million-dollar businesses.
We started from the bottom, now we're here. We started from the bottom, and we'll show you how to get here. Started from the bottom, now we're here. We started from the bottom, now we're here.
Started from the bottom, now we're at the top, teaching you the systems to get what we got. Colton Dixon's on the hooks, I break down the books. C's bringing some wisdom and the good looks. As the father of 5, that's why I'm alive. So if you see my wife and kids, please tell them hi. It's the CNC up on your radio, and now 3, 2, 1, here we go.
We started from the bottom, now we're here. We started from the bottom, and we'll show you how to get here. Started from the bottom, now we're here.
Folks, on today's show, we're interviewing a man, a myth, a legend, a man who has taken an idea and turned it into a very successful company called WindowNinjas.com. And we've had the honor of working with him and watching this process of this wonderful company growing for years. There's now 11 locations of WindowNinjas.com. And on today's show, we're talking about how not to self-sabotage. Because if you buy a WindowNinjas.com franchise, they're going to provide you a proven system for marketing. Oh, yes, a turnkey marketing system. They're going to provide you with a call center, a scheduling center to schedule your leads. Oh, yes, they're going to provide you with all the tools needed, all the checklists, the processes, everything you need to know to clean windows in a professional manner, both residentially and commercially, and many other services. They're going to provide you a proven plan, but nothing can stop the poverty-causing, self-afflicting, self-damaging, self-hate system called Jackassery. If you're watching today's show and you have a burning desire to set yourself on fire, no proven system can help you. And so we're going to talk about avoiding the most common areas of jackassery. And here to talk about it is a man who does not suffer from jackassery, Gabe Salinas. Welcome onto the Thrivetime Show. How are you, sir?
I'm great, Clay. Thanks for having me, man.
Gabe, I've got a list of 5 recent examples from clients that I have worked with for many years who have told me that the following things have happened in their business. And there's 5 of them where my client is being plagued by jackassery in their own business because they have an employee who is engaging in jackassery. It's that self-hating, poverty-causing mindset. So here's an example number 1. The client of mine, they said they have one of their employees who's spending 90% of their day making social medias that don't contribute to the creation of even 5% of their leads. Let me try that again. This employee wants to, they have a marketing person on their team who's spending 90% of their day making videos that produce less than 1% of their leads. What would you say there, Gabe, if you've got a marketing teammate who's spending their day doing activity that does not produce results?
Um, I would say that that person wouldn't be on my team very long. I mean, if your job is to do marketing and you can't market, then maybe you need to go get a different job.
So, but
Clean
I mean,
bullets,
if it's a
please.
real thing, though, it's a real thing. I mean, I see it with companies all the time, and this is a wonderful client, very well intentioned person in the medical space. And they're going, hey, my marketing person, rather than gathering objective reviews and calling the leads, rather than gathering objective reviews from real customers and calling the leads our inbound leads, they said that their marketing person spending their whole day making social media videos that contribute to less than 1% of the leads. What would you say if that was the situation that was plaguing you and your business? And I know it's not, but what would you say if that's was so? Let's say someone buys a franchise from you and they have an employee that refuses to get Google reviews and they want to spend their whole day making social media videos that don't generate leads. What would you say?
And I'd say it'd be time to get rid of one person and bring in somebody new. I mean, it's that simple. You got to track what matters. And man, if getting leads matters, which I think it does to most businesses who want to grow and scale, then you definitely got to have more than a 1% return on any kind of marketing in order to, have somebody be good at their job. I would say maybe a 30%. I'd give them 30%. If they got 30%, I'd be like, hey, cool, not bad. Let's see if we can get you to 60. But man, 1%? Adios, muchacho.
All right, so here's another example. This is a client of ours. These are just examples in the last week. We got a client, they have a very successful company in the construction space, doing great. And one of their employees is now dating one of the employees they just fired. Let's recap here. One of my clients is in the construction space. They fired an employee for not doing a good job. Good job. They said, "Hey, employee, you're not doing a good job. You're fired." But one of the coworkers has decided to go ahead and date this employee that was recently fired. And so now the business owner is working with an employee who is dating a former employee who was fired for the most nefarious of reasons. Why shouldn't you date your employees or allow your employees to date each other, Gabe? What happens if you have a culture where all the employees are dating each other?
Oh my gosh, you're gonna have a mess on your hands. It's like as the world turns in your office. I mean, it's just bad. I mean, why do you even want to get into the weeds of that mess? I mean, you go to work to be a professional, you go to work to earn money, you go to work to serve other people, right? You don't go to work to service other people, but you know what I mean, Clay. I mean, you need to keep those boundaries so that it can be professional and everybody can do their job and they can do it well and they can get paid and the company can grow and then the employees can grow as well. So I'm not saying that two people can't find each other at the workplace, but it's very few and far between. So I would definitely try to keep that kind of commingling apart. And yeah, it's just not something that I really highly recommend.
Okay, another example. This is a client we've worked with for a long, long time. These are just from this week. Okay, this employee we've worked with for this a client we've worked with for a long time. They're on the East Coast, and they said, "Clay, we need to talk." I said, "What's going on?" They said, "You know, the system, the business, it's growing, it's taking off, it's working." This is a client I've worked with for a long time. I said, "Well, what's the problem?" They go, "I failed to buy insurance." I go, "What do you mean you failed to buy insurance?" They're like, I failed to buy workman's comp. And so a bad thing happened. And now I'm finding myself in a bad situation. Again, somebody could buy a windowninjas.com franchise and follow a proven system, but if they don't buy the required amount of insurance needed, bad things will happen. Gabe, what happens if you're out there and even if you bought a Window Ninjas or any kind of franchise and you go out there and you choose not to buy the required insurance? What happens?
Well, there's going to be all kinds of bad things that happen. First of all, God forbid an employee gets hurt, especially if you have if you're supposed to have workers' compensation insurance on them. Um, Gosh, if they get hurt, who's going to pay that bill? Who's going to make the employee whole, right? I don't know if you've been to the hospital lately, but the hospital visits are not cheap. And so not only does the workers' compensation insurance cover your employee, but it also covers you because now you're not liable and on the hook for that employee's full hospitalization bill. And why would you even want to put an employee in a situation like that anyways? He's risking his life to do some dangerous work for you. and you don't even want to give them insurance. I mean, that's kind of shady. That's just bad business practices all around in a multitude of different levels.
Okay, another example. I bring this up because, again, if you buy a windowninjas.com franchise, the biggest challenge you have is, frankly, just avoiding self sabotage. Your systems are so well refined and built. If somebody wants to become successful, they can do it. And I'm trying to teach you folks how to keep yourself from self sabotaging. Okay, so this is a longtime client of ours. They said, "Hey, my front desk guy, every time I come into my office, he's watching these Andrew Tate videos. He's watching Andrew Tate videos and Andrew Tate videos about how to manipulate women and take advantage of women." And I go, "In the workplace?" He's like, "Yeah, every time I come in, I come in and he's watching videos where, Andrew Tate's cursing and saying foul mouth things about women." And I'm going, you got to be kidding me. You don't have a culture where your front desk guy is watching Andrew Tate videos during the workday. He's like, "Yeah." And he's just, every time I leave the office, I come back, he's watching these crazy videos. I mean, Gabe, what happens if you have a culture where you have all these great systems, but your employees are, watching Netflix all day or Andrew Tate videos or whatever? What happens if you have a culture where your employees are just consuming and not even like with headphones, but full blast on speaker? They're listening to foul content. What happens to your business model? That kind of thing happens.
Man, that's just a it's a it's that's a completely different level of debauchery that I just we don't experience over here at Window Ninjas. I mean, I couldn't imagine that. But if that did happen, I mean, yeah, I could see all kinds of different bad things happening. Your employee morale is going to go down. I mean, the action items that need to be done probably are not going to get done. Yeah, it's probably just going to create some sort of a toxic environment over time. Because you do have good people that sometimes get mixed in with some nefarious people. And so, the good people are typically going to leave first because they're just not going to want to put up with that kind of mess. I mean, there's just all kinds of bad things that can go on when your employees are doing other things than the job that they're supposed to do.
Okay, next thing, gossip. There's a lot of gossip in business, and you see it all the time where you have a business, they've got 4 or 5 employees. Next thing you know, the employees are engaging in this gossipy jackassery. Talk to again. These are real things that plague American businesses today. Gabe, why can't you allow gossip and that sort of relationships to happen within an office?
Man, gossip is just an evil thing. I mean, you wouldn't want somebody to talk about you behind your back. So, just it's just kind of one of those things you just don't want to do. And especially in a workplace, man, because you got to think about it. When you're in a workplace, whether you're in a call center, you're a service technicians on a truck, or you're delivering some kind of service or goods. I mean, you got a bunch of team players out there that are working with you to get the task at hand done. And so whatever that business's purpose is, I mean, that's what everybody is working towards. And when you have, things like what you're mentioning going on throughout the day, it just kind of destroys the morale, man. You lose the camaraderie, you lose the teamwork, I mean, everybody's focused on their own stuff as opposed to what the goal of the business is and the reason why you're getting paid. I mean, it's just awful.
You see it a lot, though, in business, Gabe. You see employees that are arguing with each other. You see this all the time. Because what we're going to give you right now at windowninjas.com, if you go to windowninjas.com, you're going to give our listeners an incredible system. But if we are engaged in self-sabotaging jackassery, it's not going to work. Gabe, you've been running Window Ninjas long enough. You know what it takes to become a successful franchisee. You know what it requires. You also know what what could not be allowed. So who's a good fit to buy to go out there and buy a Window Ninjas franchise? Who's a good fit from a personality perspective, and who's not?
A great fit is somebody who is definitely conscientious of what they want in life. What I find is people that are go-getters. They got good charisma. They're natural leaders. They take good direction. Which is something that you could be a leader, but I've known a lot of leaders, Clay, that just can't even take good direction, and that makes them not so much of a great leader. But um, you know characteristics like that is really what we look for. And when we see and find people that have those kind of characteristics, we know that within our system that they're going to do really, really well. The customers are going to like them. The staff on the call center side is going to like them. The service tech employees are going to like them. Just everybody in general. And we have a good batch of those kind of guys in our system right now. And like I was just talking to my sales leader. he was talking to us about the awards that we got coming up for our next month's NinjaCon annual franchise conference. And it's cool to see how all of our employees in our call center and on our service side have voted for specific people. Even our franchisees have voted for certain people because they have done an amazing job of helping everybody on the team, providing good value, and being somebody that they could be counted on, right? And so those three things really separate them apart from everybody else. And so when you have team members like that, man, it really makes it easier on everybody. The service technicians enjoy talking to them and interacting with them. The other call center employees enjoy talking and interacting with them. The franchisees, all the leadership team, everybody just enjoys being around those types of people. And when you got people that are not so nice or not so friendly or doing some kind of mischievous stuff, man, it just kind of brings morale down, man. It just invites like a toxic environment.
What is NinjaCon? You mentioned NinjaCon. Some people out there, what is NinjaCon? What is the NinjaCon event?
NinjaCon is our annual franchise conference, and we hold it every January. Right around the end of January, we hold our national conference. It's where all of our franchisees come together. All of our vendors, they come together, and it's a celebration and it's a learning experience as well. We hold awards for people who have the most revenue or they have the most upsells. We even give our technicians. We have our everybody votes on who's the technician of the year. They get a monetary bonus, and we're working on getting them like a vacation package as well. We even have a salesperson of the year for whoever the best call center agent is. And so we take great pride in NinjaCon because it's a fun event, it's an educational event, and as a franchisee, you are invited to come to NinjaCon and learn about the new things that we got going on at Window Ninjas, or get educated on some of the things that went really well over the past year, or celebrate a lot of our great people that have worked really hard throughout the year, being a good technician, or maybe they're just a good call center employee, or even our accounting team. I mean, just everybody gets to be recognized for the great things that they do. Like I said, we learn, we enjoy each other's company, we share information with each other, and we continue to grow because of NinjaCon.
Let me pull up one final area I want to focus in on today's show here. WindowNinjas.com. It's a franchise. You've got 11 locations. It's growing every day. Somebody reaches out looking to buy a WindowNinjas.com franchise. How much money does it cost to buy a WindowNinjas.com franchise? That's question one. And then, who would be a good fit? Like, if someone's watching this right now, what does it cost to buy one? And who should look at buying a WindowNinjas.com franchise?
Well, the cost is relatively low in the space, Clay. I mean, we're talking about 49,500 for a franchise fee, and then when they're buying their trucks and their equipment and all that, all in, they're looking right around 175 at the high end. I've seen guys get into it as low as like 140. But for that amount of money, you get a proven system, a system that's scalable, a system that generates high income for all of our franchisees. Our profit margins are well above the industry average, and you get to work with a bunch of great people. Our call center agents are awesome. Our leadership team across the board, awesome. Every single person on our system really wants to see each and every one of our employees and franchisees scale and win. And that's the cool thing about what we do over here, is that for less than $200,000, you can become a millionaire within 5 years. You can earn revenue that you have never seen before in your life. You can live the life that you want. You can have time freedom, financial freedom. You can have all of those things. And we talk about that with a lot of people. And it's amazing, Clay. People don't really understand the time freedom that our franchisees really, really enjoy. And I think, you've got kids and you've got family and you've got a bunch of employees. And I think you can appreciate the fact that time freedom is probably, as you get older, one of the most important things that is going to come to your life as you start to get older and wiser. So
Amen to
anyway,
that. And
Those are some of
Gabe,
the things that we offer.
older, wiser, smarter, younger, faster, sleeker. That's Gabe Salinas right there. I tell you, Gabe, you're over the time. You're like a fine wine. You're getting better over time. Your brand is growing. You're building momentum. More and more people are looking to you as a mentor within the space of the window cleaning industry. And I encourage everybody out there, sincerely, check out windowninjas.com. Windowninjas.com. Gabe, I really do appreciate you. And I guess we won't be joining you during Christmas Eve or Christmas Day, so we'll see you in a couple weeks. But hope you have a great holiday season, and I'll give you the final word for anybody out there that's taking notes. What do you want to say to all of our listeners out there?
Anybody out there taking notes and is interested in, like I said, having time freedom and financial freedom, look me up. Give us a call over here at Window Ninjas. Maybe we'll help you with a franchise. Maybe we'll be able to help you with the problem that you're trying to solve. Maybe we'll just have a good conversation, and then you'll be able to figure out how it is that we're here to help you. But the most important thing that I want people to understand is that we're here to help. Whatever problem you have, whether you got dirty windows or you want to put more money in your bank account, we can definitely help you out.
Gabe Salinas, thank you so much, sir. We'll talk to you soon.
Sounds great, Clay. See you then.
Bye.
According to Inc. magazine, 96% of businesses fail. That's a massive percentage, obviously. But when you stop and consider that our country now has 327 million citizens who all claim that they want to become successful, it becomes sadly and abundantly clear that most people are wrong when it comes to business. In fact, the Small Business Administration, the U.S. Small Business Administration, reports there are 27.9 million businesses in our country. However, a lot of data would suggest that many people form an LLC and never actually do anything with the business. So let's work off the assumption, though, that in our country, there's 16 million active businesses out there. And of that 16 million, 96% of those businesses are going to fail. That means by default, we all have just a 0.00193% chance of being successful. And it is my hope on today's show that with the help of Dr. Breck Kasbaum, the chiropractor, and Josh Spurl, the Canadian CPA, that we can teach you the proven path and the proven moves that you can use to become successful. However, what do you call somebody who knows the moves that they can use and who has seen proof that the moves work? They've researched our clients and they've seen the success of companies like ShawHomes.com or FullPackageMedia.com or DrBreck.com or Spurl's CPAs. What do you call somebody who now knows what to do and then chooses not to do it? Would you go as far as to call him an idiot? Would you call him a moron? What do you call somebody who knows the proven moves that they need to use to grow their business, but they simply just choose not to do it? I call these people something worse than being an idiot and something worse than being a moron. I call these people the uncoachables. So you're saying to get on top of the Google search results, I gotta have the most reviews, the most content, the most canonical compliance, and the most mobile compliance? Well, I ain't gonna do it. I ain't gonna do what you tell me to do. I don't want to be a copycat. So you're saying that the key to sustainable human resources success is doing the group interview every week? I don't want to do it every week. I want to pump it up. So you're telling me the irrefutable fact that 85% of employees lie on their resumes is according to Inc. magazine? Well, that doesn't change me, because at my heart I believe that people are good, and I will read all resumes. I categorically reject the idea of doing a group interview. To be successful, daytimer, you say I must have. To-do list, I must carry. I choose not to use a day planner or to-do list. The force I shall use. First successful person in the history of galaxy without a day planner. I shall become.
Some shows don't need a celebrity narrator to introduce the show, but this show does. 2 men, 8 kids, co-created by 2 different women, 13 multi-million-dollar businesses. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Thrivetime Show.
Now, 3, 2, 1, here we go!
We started from the bottom, now we here. We started from the bottom, and we'll show you how to get here. Started from the bottom, now we here. We started from the bottom, now we here. We started from the bottom, now we here.
Yes, 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 and yes. Jason, on today's show, I'm excited because we have 29 guests booked.
That's huge.
29 guests on one show.
Man.
Only one of the guests, though, is going to be in the studio in person today.
Right.
And we have Dr. Breck here in person in the studio. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great, Clay. How are you doing?
I'm excited to have our one guest in person. And rumor has it you have set a record of sorts. Tell us about the win, because we live here for wins of the week, so much so that I have music always ready to celebrate the wins of the week, because now it is time for
Doing the bull dance, feeling the flow.
Oh yeah. All right, Dr. Breck, tell us, what is your big win of the week?
So, Clay, I had challenged my staff to, push themselves and to push me, and for us to help as many people as we can. And so our goal was to see over 80 patients in a single day, and we have now seen 90 patients in a single day.
What? Your goal was to see 80.
Our goal, I
see
believe
80
that
patients.
we could consistently see 80 patients in a day, but we hadn't broken that little seal there at 80. And so I felt like we could do more and that we could help more people. And so I challenged them, and they rose to the occasion and kicked that challenge to the curb.
Now, before
and
I
it's
lose
all 90.
Before I lose my mind and start cheering excessively,
Yeah.
What was the previous record?
77
77, and your new record is what now?
is now 90.
Yes.
Yes, that's impressive, Jason. That right there is why we do this.
Yeah, it is.
So, did you use your earnings to go buy yourself a bunch of shoes?
No, I didn't. No,
You did not
shoes.
buy yourself a pair of Yeezys to celebrate?
Come on.
I didn't.
Okay. Now, what we want to do on today's show is we're going to talk about calling leads, the importance of call recording, firing people, online marketing, a business exists to serve the owner, gathering Google reviews, the importance of writing content, tracking, keeping a schedule, spending money on SEO, call recording, accountability, hiring the right people, the importance of consistent meetings, daily planning, training, the dangers of invoicing, tracking numbers, launching ads, the group interview, merit-based pay, obsessing on logos and print pieces as opposed to getting something done, company-wide to-do lists, being accurate on your follow-up, having high-quality branding, team training, and delaying gratification, all this and more. So let's start here with calling your leads. When people fill out the form at drbreck.com, that would mean that they are trying to schedule their first exam, their first adjustment. And what does that cost the listeners?
It doesn't cost them anything.
So their first exam is free.
Correct.
And that is the exam, the X-ray,
Right.
and the adjustment, right?
First treatment. Yes, sir.
Okay, and it's free.
It's all free.
And Jason, let's start right there. Let's start right there. The no-brainer.
Mhm.
If everybody could just do the no-brainer, wouldn't life be a better place?
They would get so many more leads.
So let's talk about this, Dr. Breck. Most chiropractors, dentists, doctors, lawyers, people that we work with who are professionals like you,
Right.
they will not do a no-brainer.
Right.
They just say, I don't want to cheapen the brand.
Mm-hmm.
And therefore, even though they're top in Google, they get far less leads
Right.
than people like you who have a no-brainer. A deal so good and so hot, the world can simply not say no to it. Talk about this. What encouragement would you have for anybody out there who just doesn't want to implement a no-brainer?
I had been at that place before where I also didn't want to cheapen my brand. I didn't want to come across differently than how I viewed myself. But as you said, I mean, when you put something out there that is so good that people can't say no to, then you have that many more opportunities to actually interact with those people. So I'm interacting now with people that I would have never met prior to doing a no-brainer. And so there is that. I tried different calls to action previously, and they didn't actually call anybody to action. But now this does, and so we're getting leads that we understand that we also have to follow up those leads quickly, because when people are hurting, they want, immediate response. And so the better your systems are to reach back out to those people, to connect with those people, answer the phones, the better opportunity you have to actually interact and get those people in your door and have them become your patient, your customer.
I always like to tell people this little fun little kind of rhyme, Jason, is when you can't sell, your business
goes to hell. I don't know why that's always so fun for me to say or to teach, but it is. It's true. And Dr. Breck, before you teamed up with Tim Redmond, for those who are not familiar with the story, how long ago was it when you teamed up with Tim Redmond over there at Redmond to Growth?
If I remember, right at 2 years now.
Okay, and just so the listeners know this, my team, we provide all the back-end systems for Tim's clients. So we do all the photography, videography, graphic design. We make the business plans, and Tim helps implement that and help clients lead them down the path, and it's a really good relationship there. How much have you grown since working with a coach?
I've doubled.
You doubled?
Yeah.
So you've doubled since working with a coach?
Right. Yeah, I mean, we were just talking about, a new record day, but consistently we're seeing, twice as many patients as we did prior to this time. So, prior to 2 years ago, we were seeing on average about 35, maybe 40 patients in a day.
So we're going to go rapid fire through all these teaching points, but what would you say, Dr. Breck, to anybody right now? Let's say that somebody was in the studio right now, or maybe a guest who will be on the phone line here in just a minute, who refuses to offer a no-brainer deal, and they're not getting leads. What would you say to them?
If they absolutely refuse to?
Yeah, it's weird because they're paying for coaching. You tell them they need to make a no-brainer, but they just won't do it. What would you say to them?
I mean, you're severely handicapping yourself. You're shooting yourself in the foot. If you're not going to be coachable, then I don't understand why you have a coach.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's a proven system. I talk to patients about this all the time.
Yeah.
There are a lot of ways to go about losing weight. There's a lot of systems that you can use to lose weight. So whether that be like a Weight Watchers, a Jenny Craig, these systems have worked for other people. And if you implement the systems, they work. And so, you're just handicapping yourself within the system if you're only using a part of it. So I would say jump in with both feet and absolutely, apply what you're learning, apply what you're being told, follow the proven path, because if you are, then it's just a matter of time to find that success.
Now, Jason, on page 139 of the Boom Book, we talk about sales. And when a lead comes in, we have to call the lead a lot.
Yeah.
To call the same lead over and over and over.
True.
Why?
Because typically people aren't going to answer on the first go around. Like, let's say
Why?
I decide to, because they don't know the number.
Yeah. Now let's talk about this. I was talking about this just last night with my beautiful, wonderful bride. We were talking about this. There's a phenomenon right now that the average person has over 1,000 emails in their inbox. And the average person no longer listens to voicemails.
True.
And the average person occasionally checks their Facebook Messenger. And the average person, now it just happened a few months ago. It's crazy. It's become a new thing. The average person doesn't respond to text messages either. And the average person does not respond to phone calls from numbers they don't know. So how are you supposed to reach the average person? Seriously, we're just talking about this because we have a very dear friend who reached out to us and said, "Hey, let's get together and do ABC 1, 2, 3." And we said, "Let's do it. Let's plan it." And so we're calling the guy and pretty consistently, like once a day.
Yeah. And
then he calls me back out of the blue and says, "Hey, where have you been?" And I said, "I've been calling you. I've been sending you text messages. I called you, texted you. This is probably 10 times in. I'm not mad or anything." He goes, "Oh man, I don't check the text messages anymore because I'm on these group texts, and I get so many. I just quit checking." So how are we to reach the average person?
Right.
I mean, that is the question. So, Dr. Breck, what would you say to a listener out there who just refuses to call the same lead until this? Again, if somebody fills out your form,
right,
what would you say to the average person who does not want to call their lead on a consistent basis?
Well, I mean, why would you advertise if you don't want to follow up on it? I mean, why do you put yourself out there to have business or a service or have a product that you're trying to sell if you're not going to
Jason, why is this?
follow up on that? Because
in my honest opinion, well, I would say it's more than an opinion because I've proven it.
Yes.
I need to write a dissertation on this. It's most of the small business owners nowadays believe that just because, not to say that Breck has done this, but let's use Breck as an example. He's got his form you fill out on the website, the phone number on the website, potentially some sort of social media link that you can reach out to him. Every business owner thinks the customer is going to come directly to them.
They do.
But what happens is they fill the form out, and now it's on the business owner or their team to call them back, and they're like, That's not how this works.
A lead is like a fish. Your
Mhm.
business is like a boat.
Right.
You have to get the fish in the boat. The fish typically don't just jump into the boat.
Right.
Right.
And you cannot have a passive mentality. Now, point number 2, call recording. Jason, clarityvoice.com is who we recommend. clarityvoice.com.
So good.
All of the clients who've implemented call recording, all of them, whenever they start listening to the calls, are they pleasantly surprised at the quality of the calls before, once they start hearing the calls for the first time?
Yeah.
Or are they shocked at how bad the calls are?
It's somewhere right in the middle. Typically, it leans more towards shocked, and they listen to the first call and they go, "Dear God," or I listen to it with them in the meeting and they think, pause halfway through, "Is this what's happening in my office?" Yeah, it is. But now we know.
Every day.
There was one particular sports facility that I worked with in Tulsa, and we pulled the calls for the first time.
Uh-oh.
And this is how the calls went. Jason, pretend like I'm calling you,
Okay.
and you're a lead.
Got it.
Yeah, is this Jason?
It is. Who is this?
By the way, this person sounded just like this. Yeah, so I was calling you about our program, and and the customer, again, what would you do? Continue. So so I was calling about the program.
Your program, is it like a computer program? What kind of program are we talking about?
We do sports, and so what did you want to do?
I'm confused as to what this is about.
This is what they did every call. And it sounded like this person had been smoking a lot of stuff before making calls.
Right.
I played the calls for the owner, and that's what was happening. The dude was blazed, just high as a kite. Jason, have you been around a lot of people that are high as a kite? Have you ever seen this phenomenon?
More than I'd like to acknowledge.
And when you're around somebody who, by the way, people out there, if you're smoking a lot of pot, this is what's happening to your brain. It dramatically slows down your ability to process the law of cause and effect or conclusions, while also numbing you emotionally to your surroundings and numbing you slightly to pain and the adversity of life. So, Breck, I'm sure you've seen somebody who's high as a kite.
Absolutely.
And when somebody's high as a kite, why can't they process things emotionally the right way? What happens if someone's smoking too much pot or any pot consistently?
Well, yeah, I mean, that's how it works. That's what the effect of it is on your brain, is that you are no longer connecting the dots between certain activities and like you said, cause and effect.
Right.
But then also, there is that numbing aspect that happens, and it's not just the numbing of your body, it's the numbing of your mind. And so, that's a big deal here in Oklahoma right now with our new medicinal marijuana laws. Everybody is going out and numbing not only the body, but also the mind in the process.
And what we've found, and this is a sad thing, but it's true, is a lot of these business owners in Oklahoma have people that have medical marijuana cards.
Yep.
And they are high while working for them.
Yep. And they're terrified to fire them.
And I'm just telling you, if you don't listen to the calls, you won't know how good or bad your team is. But, Jason, if you're out there assuming your team is on it right now as it relates to the calls and not call recording, would you not agree you're throwing away thousands, potentially millions of dollars?
Oh, 100%. Any of the clients that I've had, not to drag anybody into the bus or anything, but like we fixed the problem since, but they didn't realize that they thought that they were not getting leads. They thought that their lead conversion system was broken. They thought that their form was broken. It turns out you have people that either, one, don't call them back, or two, when they do call them, they're not following the script. So the customers are confused and they just decide to go somewhere else.
Now, Elon Musk, who could not be here with us on today's show because he has class. Page 168. He says, one lesson I learned at PayPal is to fire people faster. That sounds awful, but if somebody's not working out, it's best to part ways sooner rather than later. It's a mistake to try too hard to make something work that really couldn't work. This is Elon Musk, the founder and he's the guy behind PayPal, the man behind Tesla, the man behind SpaceX. Let's talk about this, Breck, for the listeners out there that just won't fire people that treat customers and patients wrongly. What would you say? What advice would you have for somebody out there that just refuses to fire people?
I don't know. I mean, you do. You have to. You just have to get over that fear of wanting to be their friend and actually, lead your company and be the boss. Sometimes that's fun, and sometimes it's not fun. But when you have a passion for what you're doing, you have a mission statement, you are on purpose, then you start to very quickly connect the dots that this person is not on your passion, they're not on your purpose, and they're not in your organization. And so you're able to better remove yourself from the emotional side of that.
Yep.
And you just put on your big boy pants, big girl pants, and you get it done. And over time, it does get a little bit easier. I know, Clay, that you've had to do this several times.
So many times.
And that it's not an emotional roadblock for you at all anymore.
3 times this week. 3 times this week.
And so, I mean, it's part of the process, and you have to embrace that it is going to happen. And sometimes that person may be a friend, but and they can still be a friend, and you can let them be a friend in another work position. They can be a friend in personal life and no longer somebody you see at the office.
Carl, it's not you, it's me. We can still be friends. What happens is, though, in business, is that we all go out there, we start a business, and we're fired up about the idea.
Oh, yeah.
We're passionate. We care about our patients, our customers. And what happens is that from each person who's not you, as the company scales, each person who's not you is a little less passionate than you are.
Sure.
So by the time you get to about 50 employees, the guy at the very entry level usually doesn't care at all about the mission or the passion. And it's your job as an owner to make sure that the bozo effect doesn't happen where A players hire B players and B players hire C players, and pretty soon you have D and F players on your team.
Right.
So you've got to do is set the standard. And Sam Walton, he couldn't be here, Jason, because he is
dead.
That is true. There's only one boss, the customer, and he can fire anybody in the company from the chairman on down simply by spending his money somewhere else. So if you don't fire bad people, you will lose.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Now, Breck, you're having great success now, but tell the listeners out there about the pain of not being successful and how long it took you guys to figure it out, because there's somebody out there who's not going to act today unless they experience pain.
Right.
They cannot handle your success story is not motivational enough, so they're kind of going, yeah, I'm not motivated by a great story of gain. I need to hear about the pain of not implementing this. And how long were you stuck in the pain? Tell us about the pain.
I've been in practice for we're going on 16 years now.
Yep.
And I struggled in the pain, the bottom depths of abysmal business sense for about 12 years.
12 years, folks. So I'm telling you,
part of it. I mean, over a decade for sure.
If you've been stuck, you can get unstuck.
True.
But if you don't implement all the things we're telling you today, it's not going to work.
Nope.
Because even if you, let's say you said, okay, I'm going to start calling my leads every time. I'm going to install call recording. I'm going to do all the marketing, but I'm not going to fire people. That's not going to work.
Nope. Right.
You've got to fire. What would the you like OSU football,
yes.
Oklahoma State football? What would the team look like if anyone who tried out got to play?
Well, unfortunately, maybe like it does now.
I mean, think about that for a second.
No, it would be
though.
terrible. Yeah, I mean, I didn't get to play because I'm not at the caliber athlete that needs to be on the field, and so you've got to have a criteria that you want to, excel. And you've got to hire the team that you want to be, not the team that you currently are or have been.
There we go.
And then, if you have people on your team that don't meet that standard, then you need to continue to do the group interviews. You need to find better quality players and bring them into your team so that you can let lesser quality players go and seek their passion elsewhere.
Now, let's say that, okay, you've embraced calling leads, call recording, firing people. Now, online marketing. On step 6 and page 121 of the Boom Book, we talk about this all the time. But yet I have met a hand surgeon in the upper Midwest as recently as, let's not get myself in trouble, let's say 3 years ago-ish, who told me that people do not use the internet when looking for a surgeon. Now, he was referred to me by his friend who is killing it, who's making a ton of money, who's been an active long-time client. And he says, dear friend, you're rolling. How are you rolling? You're doing so great. How are you doing so great? And the friend says, well, I've been using Clay Clark and his coaching system for a long time now. And we kill the game on online marketing, man. And he says, will you kill the game? And he says, yes. And he says, but you're a doctor. Do people actually look online for you? And he says, yes. And he says, that's why you should use them. This is the story. And then the hand surgeon says this. It's crazy. He says, yeah, but all my business comes in word of mouth. To which the other doctor says, I know, because you're not on the
You're
internet.
not doing it.
And he says, yeah, but
You're
all my
losing.
leads come in from referral. Nothing comes in off the internet. And he's like, I know, because you're not on the internet.
Right.
I can't imagine
You
how
can
that
change that.
conversation would go. Just be like, God, my hand's feeling weird. Oh, you know what you should do is go to this guy and he'll cut it open with a scalpel. He's the only guy I use to cut my hands open.
Think about this for think about this for a second. Think about this for a second. Breck, try to help me understand the mindset. Because
No,
a
I
lot
totally
of doctors
get it.
say, I don't do online marketing because all of my business currently comes in from word of mouth, which I would say that's why you need to do online marketing. But how can someone not see that conclusion?
Well, I mean, referral patients are the best patients.
Okay.
So you have a patient that's out there talking about your services because they've experienced it firsthand. And when they do, they've already pre-sold their friend, their family member on you and your services, right?
Right.
So they are the best, just like with your business. I mean, that was the best type of lead is because you had helped his friend. So now he's telling his friend. The one doctor is telling the hand surgeon.
Yes.
And so, those are the best types of patients. And so, yes, you want to do what you can internally, externally to continue to grow that area of your business. But yet, if you're not playing the game, of course, you're losing every game you don't play. Like I had a coach that said, you miss every shot you don't take.
True.
And so, he's just doesn't even realize what he doesn't know because he's not in a segment of opportunity. Like if he gets online, then all of a sudden, maybe less than half of his
You
business
used to
comes
have a
from referrals.
website that was almost hidden from the internet.
If you typed in my name, you couldn't find.
So if someone
my
typed in
name.
Dr. Breck, they couldn't find your
I
name.
don't think you could find my name because it was so lost in the netherworlds of the internet.
And now it seems as though, and I could be wrong, but it seems as though you're getting at least a qualified patient every day.
Yes, every day.
Every day?
Multiple.
Multiple.
I mean,
every
this
day.
is kind of cathartic because I've done everything the wrong way before.
Okay. So if you're out there listening
I can
here,
relate.
we're gonna take some calls here in a little bit. And Jason, I believe we're actually going to be calling a Canadian who is coachable, Josh Spurl, here at 7.
See a Mountie?
He might be down with the Mountie conspiracy. I know. I can for sure tell you because he's from up there. He's into Bieber, and he's into Bryan Adams, and he's into the Blue Jays, and he's into Molson Ice and hockey. I can tell you that all those stereotypes are true. I can tell you that. But we'll be calling Josh Spurl, the Canadian CPA, who's very coachable as well here at 7, and then we will take calls from people who maybe are less than coachable according to our call screener. Okay, so here we go. Now, gathering Google reviews, and a business existing to serve the owner. Dr. Breck, if you do not fundamentally believe that the business exists to serve you, what does your life look like as a business owner if you do not believe that the business serves you? What does that look like?
This alone was a paradigm shift for me because I did not ever consider the business to exist to serve me prior to getting coaching. And so I hadn't really read that. I hadn't come across that prior to working with Tim Redmond and you guys at Thrive.
Yep.
And so I had to kind of sit and wrestle with that a little bit. But no, I totally am on board with the idea. I get that now. Because I have goals, I have passions, and I did create the business to feed those goals and passions. And, prior to that, it was just me slaving away trying to help every patient that I could, but at the same time running more and more on empty.
If you do not embrace this idea, your life will be hell. And let me give you an example. We have an elected official who's most people, if I mentioned his name, they would go, oh, okay, I know him. If you live in Oklahoma, you'd know his name.
Sure.
And he has determined that we are the best marketing team in our state. That's his worldview.
Mm-hmm.
And so he sends me a text, hey, could we meet for dinner? I'd like to discuss about how you could help me during the remaining 2 years of my term to market my reelection, basically.
Yeah.
And so I said, well, we have a 13-point assessment. I can schedule it, and I gave him times. So it's like, I think 9 a.m. on a Saturday or Tuesday at 3. I have like 5 spots open. Right. And he said, no, I want to meet for dinner. And I said, I appreciate you. And I just don't do dinners anymore. I used to do a lot of that. Because I'm with the kids and the wife now and hanging out. So if we could do during these 5 times. And he says, well, if you want my business, then you're going to have to meet me for dinner. And I said, I guess I just don't want it then. So that happens, though.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm turning down okay business for great business.
Right.
Because I just had another elected official who reached out to me, who we went over the boundaries. We went over the times I was available, and he said, "Sure, let's do it then." And that's great.
Right.
But if you're not careful, you're going to run around having 9 o'clock meetings every night. You're going to be rescheduling every day for the patient that just has to. They can't come in on Monday through Friday. They can't get in 9 to 5. They can't get in. And
everybody wants me to work on Saturday.
Everybody does.
Of course.
There's very few people that say you should be closed on Saturday.
No one thinks I should be closed. I should live at the office.
You could be. Now, as an example, Dr. Zellner is open 7 days a week, right? But he's not there.
Right.
He has people that are there who work different shifts, and they rotate on the weekends. But, Jason, if somebody does not believe that a business exists to serve them, what's going to happen?
They will exist to serve their business, and they will just do that 24/7. They will become the hardest working employee in their business, and they will never have time for any of, like Breck said, the goals that they originally started the business to accomplish.
And then they can't sell the business because if someone wanted to buy the business and they discover that you have to work 100 hours a week to make it happen, you're not sellable. I'm serious. This is
it's
a doom
built
loop.
on your own personality. I mean, for me, in a service that I'm in chiropractic, I mean, I can have a practice that's staff-driven, which is something that we're working towards, or it can be totally personality-driven, where I am the commodity that people are really purchasing rather than the service itself. And so that has to be something that people that are in a service definitely have to consider.
Now, we talk about this a lot on the show. We talk about the importance of gathering objective reviews, okay? So if you're a podcast, you'd want to get reviews on iTunes and Stitcher and Google, and or if you're a chiropractor, I would argue that Google's very, very important to get Google reviews.
True.
Dr. Breck, there's got to be somebody out there saying to themselves, yeah, but I'm a doctor, and reviews don't necessarily impact me. And I know there's somebody out there because we have a listener who listens to almost every show who came up to me at the conference and was very nice about it. But they said, hey, I want you to know, in my industry, reviews don't really work. Jason, how often have you heard this? That getting Google reviews really doesn't matter. And maybe you heard it as recently as yesterday morning. We won't mention anyone's name, but I mean, talk to me about the excuses people give for not getting reviews and the kind of pushback people have about reviews.
A lot of people don't understand that is how everybody finds you. Like if I'm going online to find a chiropractor, if I don't even know I'm looking for Breck yet, I'm just looking for somebody, I'm going to see who comes up first because I'm not going past that first page of Google. But more importantly, I'm going to look at that map because it's the first thing that pops up, and Breck's going to be at that top of the map, so I'm clicking on him first. 1, because he is the fastest person to get to. 2, he's got the highest and most reviews. And if I see that he has, what do you guys at, like 370 some odd reviews?
Yeah,
I'll pull it up right now.
Yeah.
You keep.
If I see that compared to a best choice chiropractic just because they want to be ranked alphabetically top and they have 3 reviews and it's 2.5, I'm not going there.
He has 323 reviews.
Woo! But I mean, it's massive, and as just to answer your question, I hear that more frequently than I'd like to admit.
Oh.
But the best part is when you're able to show somebody. I always pull the Cola example. I'm like, look, they are beating a multinational corporation as far as overall reviews, content, and visitors because they are just on it. If I Google Joplin Gyms, I'm going to check out Cola before I check out Planet Fitness.
Now, think about this for a second. I'm going to do a Google search. I want all the listeners to do a search right now for the phrase Joplin Gyms. Joplin Gyms. Jason, again, I don't want to mention the name of the company, but we were on the phone yesterday with somebody who mentioned it's not possible to get reviews because they're so busy.
Yeah, which is the best time to get reviews.
Breck, encourage somebody out there who, for whatever reason, is saying, I'm so busy right now, we can't get reviews. What would you say to them?
No, you have to get reviews. I didn't used to have hardly any reviews. I think organically we had like 15 reviews.
And you've been in business for 12 years. 15 organic reviews, right.
I mean, that's just what happened to come in over a decade period. But then we started to actually, have a system of asking our patients to review us, and we do our best to make sure every patient is happy. And so, we feel comfortable asking every patient that's in the office to give us an honest review. But now we have 323, I think you said.
Yep.
You know, that momentum just builds. Now I have patients who come in for the very first time who've never met me before that say, I was online, I was checking you out, and you have great reviews. Your people love you. I read, 4 or 5 of them. They all consistently said, you guys care, you guys take care of people.
There it is.
You guys are the best place to be, and I didn't want to go anywhere else.
Yep.
And so you have to get those reviews. It matters. And then also your competitors are out doing the same thing. That's the biggest challenge for me is that there's a competitor that has, 150 reviews. I want to have, 5 times as many. Just so like Jason said, so the difference is so great that it's, again, a different type of no-brainer. Now you're clicking on our website rather than the other one because it's a no-brainer. 5,000 people say this place is the place to be. They can't all be wrong.
If you search for Joplin Gyms, Joplin, Joplin Gyms, and you search for it, look at Colal. They come up top with 3,787 reviews. You got Planet Fitness rocking in at 246, okay? So it's if we're keeping score, the score is 3,787 versus 246. Okay,
that's a pretty convincing score.
Yeah, but they do pizza on Monday,
and they have video reviews. Look, they have video reviews.
Mm-hmm.
They've got the website. Jason, now the next moment here, okay, the next potentially uncoachable moment that we hear from people all the time is they say, yeah, but I don't have time to write content for my website, and I don't want to add content to my website. Co-laws do it. They come up top in Google. There's only 4 variables that impact your rank in the Google search engine results.
True.
1 is you build your website to be canonically compliant.
Yep.
2, you make sure it's mobile compliant. 3, you get the most reviews. And 4, you write the most content.
Yep.
So if you own a business today, you have to do the following 4 action steps. 1, get a video review on a daily basis if possible. 2, add an image to your website that is optimized. 3, write search engine content. And 4, get more reviews. VISM. V, get more video reviews. I, add those images and optimize them. S, write search engine content, 1,000 words per page. M, get more reviews. VISM. Without a VISM, your online presence will perish. It will happen. You will die. You will diminish.
Yep.
Breck, somebody out there is going, yeah, but I just don't have time to write the content, and I also don't want to pay your team, Clay, to write the content. What would you say to someone who says, I don't want to write the content myself, I don't have time,
Right.
but I also don't want your team writing the content? What would you say to that person?
I mean, there are a couple of different things that we've talked about through the coaching. One of those is to do kind of like a video blog, and then you have it transcribed.
There we go.
And so that becomes part of that content, word-wise in your website.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, you either do it yourself, and you, as Jason just said, you are your most expensive, hardest working employee in your business, or you delegate. You've got to these are things that have to happen. You've got to find a way to do it, and it doesn't all have to be you wearing every hat in the business. If you're going to grow, you've got to create some systems that allow you to scale, and some of those are a big part of that is delegation.
Now, Jason, tracking.
Oh, yeah.
Tracking. There are some people out there that just, they hate tracking.
Yeah. It's a numbers thing, I think.
They don't want to track.
Nope.
And how tough could it be? Let's contrast a very easy-to-coach client. Think of a client in your mind that tracks, that consistently tracks. They're tracking all the time.
Actually, I got 2.
Okay, so think about these 2 in your mind that are just right there in your cranium. Let's put them on blast, the person who tracks and does a great job.
Yep.
Who is this person?
Number 1's going to be the super attorney Blake Johnson.
Okay,
out of
so
Las
Blake
Vegas.
Johnson. When he tracks, there's all sorts of notable quotables. Essentially, you measure what you treasure.
Yep.
So by treasuring something, by measuring what he's treasuring, how does that impact your relationship in a positive way, and how does that help him grow his company?
It impacts the relationship between us as coach and coachee, whereas he can see tracking and going over all of the ads and the systems that we're doing, that dollar amount go up every single week. So when he looks back at it, he's like, oh, this makes sense. I can see the forward progression of my company because I'm tracking where the numbers are. And it helps him personally. Like this past year, he's seen massive wins because he's found areas where he wasn't hitting his personal weekly goal. So he decided to ramp it up and then shoot for a higher number. That way he's out, or he's overachieving. And he kind of pulled the old Reeb technique. and started doing like a monthly subscription. And now that he's tracking that, he's seeing, oh, I have all this extra money coming in, and I didn't even think about that before.
Breck, there's somebody out there who is in the doom loop where you used to be.
Right.
And for whatever reason, they don't want to track. I don't get it. I need your help here.
Yeah, I've read some things recently that kind of spoke to this. There's a great book, see, I'm trying to think of the title. It just escaped me.
The Bible?
No, that's a great book.
Okay,
also.
that's always my backup book suggestion.
Yeah, it's 4 Disciplines of Execution.
4 Disciplines of Execution.
And part of that talks about the need for a scoreboard. I mean, if you ever watch sports, without a scoreboard, sports are far less entertaining. They're far less interesting.
Which is my fundamental beef with cheerleading. We have no idea.
Yeah, it's totally subjective.
What the score is.
As a former cheerleader, you never know.
Some people will say, "Man, that your kids are killing it today."
Yeah.
Some
people
I have
no idea.
I appreciate that. Sometimes I think my kids are doing great, and they're like, "No, they're losing."
Right.
What do you mean they're losing? Yeah, we just lost. I mean, you talk again.
But you got to have a scoreboard. And so for me, one of the things that we're working on implementing is different games that the employees can win. And so you make it fun, you make it challenging, and you also have a reward that they're shooting for. Right now we're in the college playoffs, and these guys are playing to get the gold ball. They're playing to get the trophy, and people play harder. People are naturally competitive when there's something to win. And so, we create weekly games, and then we create, monthly games. We create quarterly games, and then we have an annual game. And then, we can reset those games, and we keep the score. And so we know what we have to do each week in order to meet our monthly goals, and then we have what we're going to do each month to meet our quarterly, and the quarterly for the year. And that's how you keep the engine running forward.
And the average person who is not a successful entrepreneur, because remember in our country, in America right now, we have 327 million Americans. We only have 16 million of which who have an active LLC, an active business. And according to Inc. magazine, 96% of businesses fail. So that means there's 0.00193 percentage chance that you will be a successful entrepreneur. That's 0.00193. So when I'm in a room of 1,000 people, there's usually one of you who's going, "That's right, you better track." Meanwhile, the whole audience, you say, "Folks, how many of you out there want to track?" And you're like, "Hey, guys, hey, how many of you?" And there's one guy in the back going, "That's right, we got to track," because most people are passionately going the wrong direction.
Yep, right.
Gino Wickman, in his book Traction, says, "Use it! Exclamation point. You must review your scorecard every week to ensure that you're on track for your vision." The real magic of using a scorecard is not limited to managing it on a weekly basis. You will see 13 weeks, 3 months at a glance, which enables you to see patterns and trends. Do some tracking. Everyone's got to track. This next thing, and these are all things that you would only do if you're, again, this is how the world's going to label you. If you start doing these things, this is what your extended family is going to say about you. This is what the employees are going to say about you. They're going to say, "You're so anal. You're so type A.
Yeah.
You're such a jerk."
Yep.
I mean, you mean you want us to be accountable to a set quota of reviews per day?
Who do you think you are?
You want us to write content on a daily basis, and you're going to fire us if we don't do it? You mean that the business exists to serve you and not me? You mean that you're going to hold us accountable to having a website that's not terrible? You mean we have to follow a call script because you're listening to our calls? You mean that we have to call our leads over and over and over?
Mm-hmm.
The only person that would do these kind of things is a successful person.
Yep.
Now, keeping a schedule. Dr. Breck, there's somebody out there that for whatever reason, part of their demon mind, it's part of their, it's like a satanic wealth repelling thing called Jackassery.
Yeah.
Makes them not want to start their meetings on time.
Right.
And I am a recovering jackass. I'm sure
Yep,
everybody
me
out there, so we've gone through this.
Mm-hmm.
Talk to me about what happens in a company when the owner starts everything late and doesn't value the time of everybody else. What happens?
Well, it absolutely sets the tone for so many things. And I think, it's starts well before that late meeting. The schedule needs to be consistent. The schedule needs to be pre-thought out, pre-planned, and, like you've talked about, you need to start every day with at least an hour before you're talking and communicating, interacting with another human. I start my day at around 4:30 in the morning. That's when I have my quiet time. We get some time in the gym, And then, after 6:30, now I'm interacting with other people. But I've been doing that consistently for years now. And so initially it was tough. I'm naturally a night owl. I'm not a morning person. So I had to coach myself into being a morning person. But those are some of the best hours of the day. And so, my schedule is consistent. I'm here on Monday. I'm there on Tuesday. I'm doing this Wednesday. Between the hours of 9 and 12, I'm with patients. Between the hours of 2:30 and 6, I'm with patients. My wife doesn't call me. My kids don't call me. If there's an emergency, they call 911. I'll hear about it in a little while because I can't do anything about it during those times. My attention is 100% focused on the patient that's in front of me. And then, my staff is taking care of everything outside of my room, in the office. And then, the rest of the world is operating somewhere outside of my office. And so I can't be everyone's savior, and I can't solve every problem. And so I don't even attempt to. But, you've got to protect your schedule, and you've got to – well, first you have to have a schedule, and then you have to protect the schedule. And you have to be able to say no to certain things so that you can say yes to better things. And that starts with, starting your day on time, starting your meeting on time, having the agenda for the meeting, having a plan set of things that you need to talk about. Mm-hmm. And then you're going to end the meeting on time. And you've got action steps ready to happen and roll out when you leave the meeting, not having meetings upon meetings to have another meeting and a committee to form another meeting. Those are things that just, it's terrible, and it weighs your company down, and nobody wants to come to the meeting because it's pointless. You need to have a meeting that has energy, that has a point, and gets something accomplished.
This is so important for somebody out there. If you were to open up your Bible to John 10:10, and if you don't believe in the Bible, it's fine. I just want to make sure you get this idea because I want you to understand how passionate I am about this. The Bible teaches us these universal truths that if you don't believe in the Bible, it's fine. But these particular verses, I think, will resonate with you. There's a John 10:10 is the Bible verse, and it says, "The thief has come to steal and kill and destroy. I have come that they may have life and have it to the full." What that means, again, the thief comes only to steal and destroy. I have come that they may have life and have it to the full. Is that I really do believe that it is a satanic idea to be perpetually late.
Yes.
I do believe it is a satanic idea. And you might say, that's harsh. Well, if Satan in the Bible, if John describes it and he says, the thief comes to kill and destroy, you will destroy your business, and you will kill your business, and you will be robbing your own family of potential financial success if you're always late.
Right.
So it could not be a Christian idea, a Christ-like idea to constantly be late.
Well, and part of the idea of being a Christian is daily dying to oneself. And I believe that being late, and especially perpetually late, is just a very selfish action, very self-centered, because you're not taking into account the other people that are now waiting on you.
See, and I'll think about this for a second. We talked about call recording. There's nothing dishonest about telling your team, Jason, you're listening to the calls, and that you're going to use those for training purposes. American Express does it. Go to Walmart. See how many cameras are up there. Do you see Lowe's now has cameras everywhere on every aisle?
That's true.
There's
Even
nothing
at the checkout, everybody's doing it.
There's nothing wrong about it.
Right.
It allows you to see what's going on.
Right.
Right?
Because otherwise, nobody's going to tell you until it's too late.
Right.
I was at Lowe's yesterday. No, I wasn't. I did go to Lowe's, but I was at Walmart, the one that's east of the county line on 71st.
Yep.
It's a new Walmart, and there's cameras up. And I was messing around with my daughter, but it was with Aubrey and Havana. And there's your face is on a huge screen now in there. Have you seen that?
Yeah.
So I'm like, guys, I think we're being watched. But there's like a camera where you obviously know, and the lady works at Walmart, the lady who kind of mans the self-checkout area to make sure you can get help if you need to.
Right.
She doesn't know that I'm messing with her, but I'm like, I feel like they're watching us. And I'm looking right into the camera, and I can see my face on the big screen. I'm like, guys, I think that's me. Oh, no. What about all the things I've been saying? And so it was just really funny. And I was like, and I was swiping my credit card. I'm like, I don't want them to see my credit card number. So I'm like, swiping. Anyway, I'm playing this game, and this lady's just laughing because she thinks for the longest time that I am actually just now discovering that these cameras are up. But your employees will try to flip it on you and make you feel like a bad person.
Yeah.
Right.
Why are you micromanaging me? Do you not trust that I can't follow the script?
I do trust that you cannot follow the script.
No,
You're
but
right.
think about this. Think about this. That is like a perversion of truth.
Right.
Somehow you feel bad when you record the calls on your team.
You're right.
Somebody out there needs to hear this.
Yeah, you should not feel bad for holding people accountable to do what they're supposed to do.
Somebody out there, Jason, feels bad right now.
Yep.
That they're holding their team accountable to doing a set number of Google reviews per day.
Yeah. Well, they just think I'm being too tyrannical, and it's the whole relationship dynamics. They're not my friends anymore when I treat them that way.
Right.
I've never known anyone who's doing the right thing to be bothered by accountability.
Now look at this. John 8:44 reads, "You belong to your father, the devil, and you want to carry out your father's desires. He was a murderer from the beginning, not holding to the truth, for there is no truth in him. When he lies, he speaks his native language, for he is a liar and the father of lies." How perverted and crazy is it that we have great clients that used to feel bad about making their team track their numbers? Man, my team used to make me feel bad about that. Back in the day, when I was running DJConnection.com, I would be on the guys about tracking, and they would get mad. And then they would go, "What is your deal? What is your deal? Why do you have to make us track? What, you've never forgot to track before?" They'd always do that. Or if I wrote them up for being late, "Oh, so you've never been late before?"
Right.
There's always that holier than thou thing. Now I don't have that problem at all because I won't get into that discussion. But man, I'm telling you what, you've got to, if you're out there feeling bad about holding your team accountable, we've got to work through that. Now, the next thing a lot of people fight us about is hiring the right people, which would imply that some people are the wrong people.
Right.
Thus, we have to do a group interview every week. Now, the group interview is a game changer.
Yep.
And Jason, by default, what percentage of people have you talked to, whether it be at the conference or over the phone or in a coaching relationship, that have given you some sort of pushback about doing the group interview, whether it be the ethics, the practicality, the Darwin? I've heard this one. It's like Darwinism. It's unbelievable. I mean, could you please explain what percentage of people push back on the group interview?
Well, every coaching client that I've ever worked with initially has pushed back on it.
Yeah.
And as far as the whole Darwinian thing goes, I mean, survival of the fittest. It exists for a reason. The strong survive, and so that's the same. You need to look at your business the same way. Like, why would you want to have the smallest specimen possible when you could have an Arnold Schwarzenegger on your team?
I hear people say all the time. They'll say, "Well, my brother, he's very vital to our team." And I'm like, "That's fine. Stop talking like that." Well, no, say, "No, my brother, he's very vital to the team."
So what does he bring to the team?
And he'll go, he calls all the leads, and he's a very effective manager. And I'm like, well, maybe that was true a decade ago, but he's not at the meeting today.
Nope.
Or any meeting. He's chronically late. Yeah, well, my sister, though, she's helping him right now. The two of them are working together to try to get more functional in 2020. And you're like, stop. No. Get them out of here. Fire the incompetent people. Hire competent people. Dr. Breck, what would you say for somebody out there that's pushing back about doing the group interview?
You just have to do it. I initially pushed back, and you probably would argue against this, Clay, but I would say even if you're not willing to do it once a week, do it every other week. Do it once a month. Start
I agree.
somewhere.
Start somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to have a much better team that you're working with if you at least start somewhere and you start to when you have a person who needs to be fired, you're able to do it. You're not being held hostage any longer. Or when a situation happens, we had a woman who got pregnant, intended to come back to work, but then, didn't. And we needed to replace that person. And no fault of her own. I mean, that's great. That's a situation.
Real quick, I want to tee off on this for a second. Jason, you're a recovering stand-up comedian guy. You've done stand-up comedy.
Yes.
Again, humor comes from
honesty.
So whenever you say something where they go, "That's so true," and they kind of laugh, that's humor.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Now, let me explain this to you real quick because somebody out there is going to get offended real fast. And I'm not trying to offend you. I'm just trying to make sure we're getting this idea. Because, again, it's a sick and perverted thing where you're offended by truth.
Yeah.
So here's an example. Jerry Seinfeld is absolutely hilarious. And one of the things that he discovered is that kids love candy. I mean, he talks about this at great length, that kids love candy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to cue this up real quick. This is Seinfeld talking about how much kids love candy. Okay, give me 1 second here. This is...
One thing I do like about being with my older relatives, it makes me feel like a kid again. You know, they're feeding you. You're trying to steal candy. Candy was my whole life when I was a kid. That was first 10 years of my life. I think the only clear thought I had was get candy. That was it. Family, friends, school. They're just obstacles in the way of the candy. I'm out for the candy here. I'm just thinking, get candy, get candy, get candy, get candy, get candy. That's why you have to teach kids not to take candy from a stranger if they're playing in a playground, because they're such candy moron idiot brains. They're just, this man has candy, I'm going with him, goodbye, I don't care what happens to me, get candy, get candy, get candy, get candy. Don't go, they'll torture you, they'll kidnap you, it doesn't matter, he has an O. Henry, I have to take that chance. Get candy, get candy, get candy. So the first time you hear the concept of Halloween when you're a kid, your brain can't even process the information. You're like, what is this? What did you say? So what did you say about giving out candy? Who was giving out candy? Everyone that we know is just giving out candy? Are you kidding me? When is this happening? Where? Why? Take me with you. I gotta be a part of this. I'll do anything that they want. I can wear that.
But that is truth right there.
True.
Now, another thing that's true, but it doesn't get the same comedic reaction, is most women who have kids don't come back to work for a while. Now, think about this for a second. You're saying, why are you talking about this? Okay, we talk about the gender income gap. Think about this. If you played in the professional football, right? Let's say you're Tom Brady,
mm-hmm.
and you're really good at football, and you're 26. And you go, here's the deal. Coach Jason, I've got to leave on male maternity leave because I live in a socialistic economy, and I would like for you to pay me full wages this year. I'm going to be gone for a year. And, but, you know, don't replace me. Don't get another quarterback. I'll be back. Why couldn't you do that? Why could you not just not fill the position of quarterback during the year that Tom Brady's gone?
Well, because we actually need somebody to hike and throw the ball. I mean, football's all about forward progress. You're not going to get that without your quarterback. So
you think about this, though, for a second, okay? So there are a lot of women, great women I know, who have decided to leave the workplace for 2 to 5 years to have kids.
Right.
Does the world change when you're gone? I mean, does technology update, do things?
Yes.
So if you're gone for 5 years,
sure,
is it possible that you might have to work for less money than another woman who didn't leave for 5 years?
Yeah, I mean, we're talking, that's like 10 iPhones right there.
So we talk about the gender gap on income. I want to just deal with this for a second.
Mm-hmm.
People that leave the workplace every 3 years for 1 year deserve to be paid less than the person who doesn't miss work for 1 year every 3 years. So you see a lot of career women who don't have kids, and they make a lot more than women who do leave with the kids.
Right.
And I see this all the time in my businesses. People will say, I'm going to leave to have a child, and I'm going to come back. And, Jason, you worked with me at Elephant in the Room.
It's true.
And we've had some women who have come back.
Yeah,
but what percentage of the people that say they're going to leave and then come back after having a kid actually come back?
I mean, the batting average of the people who come back are not high. In my, almost 3 years of being there, we've had...
What percentage do you think actually come back? Half? Is it less than half?
We had 2 out of 5 actually come back.
So, Breck, I mean, you've seen that.
Right.
So if you didn't do the group interview and you accepted what someone said to you, if they said, I will come back.
Right.
And you trusted that statement, where would you be?
Well, I mean, like you said, as a quarterback, you have a job that still needs to get done. And so you have to have someone else to fulfill that role. And it could be for any number of reasons. I mean, we've had spouses of employees that got another job offer in another state. There's going to be things in life. Life is going to happen as a business owner. You do not live in a vacuum. You don't live in a utopia world. If you do, congratulations.
Great job if you're doing that. Great job.
I do not, and so there are things that are going to happen, and so we want to be prepared for those things rather than, now something falls in my lap on Monday and I've got to, get a advertisement for a position out on Indeed or, in other sources, and then interview a ton of people and try to find the best candidate and read through resumes and I mean, till I'm blue in the face. It's a terrible process
The group
to
interview
then do
is
that
beautiful.
last minute. The
Oh, it's
group
so good.
interview, we had a position that we had to fill recently, and the previous group interview had people that I did not have a position for, but they were great candidates.
Oh, yeah.
People that I liked, and
Okay.
I asked them if I could keep them on a short list.
There we go.
Of people that I wanted
I
to
love this story.
revisit.
I love this
And
story.
so we brought them back in for a checkup, kind of, make sure that we're still compatible, things are still on track, that the situation hasn't changed, and they were hired, kind of on the spot because we had already previously interviewed them.
It is. I'm telling you, if you do the group interview, you just post the job post every week. We can help you if you're stuck. Just reach out to us for some one-on-one coaching. We can help you, or get to a conference. We can help you. You make a job post it every week. Everybody who responds, just tell them, I'd love to interview you this Thursday at 6 or whatever time works good for you and your family. Interview them all at one time and save yourself the hell of going through 50 resumes, because 85% of people lie on the resumes according to Inc. magazine.
Right.
So you're talking about reading. You're basically reading. This is how it works if you do one-on-one interviews. It's like this. Step 1, post the job post. Step 2, the candidates will email you fiction pieces. People will email you pieces of fiction, of good creative narrative. You will read the creative non-truth documents called resumes. Then, based upon your ability to read fiction, you will then interview people who will say insincere statements to you for the same reason they wrote insincere statements to get the interview.
Sure. My biggest weakness is I care too much.
And then eventually you're going to get worn out after interviewing 40 people one-on-one, and you're eventually just going to hire somebody out of desperation.
Right.
And then
just
your
to have
team
the process be over.
is going to suck. But with a group interview, you have options, choices.
Absolutely.
And the person with the most options wins. Now, Jason, we're going to call now Josh Spurl, the Canadian longtime client and accountant who's based in Edmonton, Canada there. And you always worry when you call people on a live show or a show that's being recorded that they're not going to pick up. And usually after 2 rings, there's little hope for a pickup. Oh,
Clay.
yeah. Yes, what's going on, dude?
Hey, buddy, I called into that number, but I guess this works too. So.
Hey, and by the way, we are in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and are you're in Edmonton right now, or did you decide to drive down the little jaunt to be here for us?
I am actually in Vancouver, right at the moment.
Really? And what are you doing in Vancouver?
We're just doing a little bit of sightseeing. We're harassing an influencer down here, so. We got a bit of a meeting with him. So
nice. Okay, so real quick, for the listeners out there that are not familiar with you, and for you, just so you know, we've got Dr. Breck on the show. Dr. Breck, meet Josh Spurl.
How are you doing, sir?
Pretty good, Dr. Breck. Yourself?
I'm doing well, thank you. Great to meet you.
2 professionals, a Canadian CPA and an American chiropractor. And then Jason and I are what you would call non-professionals.
That's true.
We are professionals.
Yeah, I wore my Justin Trudeau shirt just for you.
Now, we're going to talk today. We're doing today is we're working through some of the uncoachable mindsets that listeners all around the world have. And we're trying to make sure everybody knows what they need to do, and then we're trying to convince everybody to do it. And my understanding is today now we're going to be talking about the importance of knowing your numbers. Are you prepared, my friend?
I am ready, Clay.
And how long have you been in business, for the listeners out there who don't know?
Oh, Clay, I've had my practice now, so I've been running small businesses for more than 2 decades at this point. But I had my accounting practice, my CPA practice, for just over 8 years now.
And how did you first hear about me?
SEO, Clay, Google. Google is the key 88% of the time, and I was one of those 88% of the people.
Did you find our podcast or the website, or what did you find first?
Found the website.
And then,
for the business conference.
And then you came to the conference, and
That's right.
And you flew from Edmonton to Minneapolis, and your flight got canceled, if I'm correct, right?
That's right. Yep.
And then you drove from Minneapolis to Tulsa all night to attend the conference.
Wow.
That's showed up looking like the homeless person, and you guys still let me in. I didn't have my luggage or anything.
And what was it worth it?
It was worth it. Yeah. So I think it's one of the best conferences that I've been to.
And talk to me about your growth in the last 18 months or so since we've started working with you.
I mean, we're in terms of revenue wise, we're up over 30%. That's for sure. So which is a big statement coming from Edmonton, Alberta, Canada, because the economic situation there is fairly tough. So 30% growth in Edmonton is unheard of these days.
Explain to the listeners out there how tough your economy is, because you almost deserve a merit badge and an award and then a buffet of cookies because you've survived the disastrous socialist economy up there. Explain what the economic climate is like up there in Edmonton.
The best way to explain it would be maybe if the people of Texas would understand, is if all of a sudden your government decided that you weren't going to build any pipelines to ship oil, even though Texas is completely dependent on oil. Alberta is pretty much the same sort of economy, and our government has decided that we don't need pipelines anymore.
So, talk to me. Who made that decision?
Mr. Trudeau, the T-shirt that Jason Beasley is wearing is
he's now burning it. That's true.
Now, again, would you describe your economy now as is it known as socialism? Is that what they're calling it? Are they officially calling it socialism up there?
I don't know if they officially call it socialism, but I would certainly classify it as socialism for sure. So,
and has it turned out to be a good thing? Would you like socialism?
No, I think pretty much the majority of Western Canada. It feels very alienated with the socialistic practices that have been enforced on us from Eastern Canada.
So how could you see socialism deteriorating your economy? I mean, what are practical examples where you go, man, socialism is really getting us?
I think it would be, when we look at the choices that are made, from the left at some point, or just completely disregard the importance of industry and the importance of business overall. And we've seen an extraordinary amount of businesses actually just, leave. They actually just closed up shop and moved jurisdictions. So, people forget that, what happens when you go after businesses, they'll simply stop working, or they'll engage in tax planning, or they will just simply leave to another jurisdiction. And we've seen, a great exodus of businesses in Western Canada.
Okay, so you have fought the good fight. You're up there listening to Bryan Adams while listening to your, it's like a Bryan Adams, Justin Bieber mix while sipping on Molson, fighting the good fight. Are the Mounties helping you to be successful? How much of your success would you credit to the Mounties?
I'm going to credit, maybe like 0.0001% to the Mounties.
Okay, so now let's talk about the importance of knowing your numbers, my friend. Josh, we have a lot of listeners who, for whatever reason, don't like tracking their numbers.
Yeah, that's the importance. So let's break down some numbers for business owners that, really business owners will work 63% more hours than regular employees. And unfortunately, 61% of the time, business owners are probably making less than employees in their industry. And this leads to the fact that 9 out of 10 businesses will fail. And Clay, you point out this stat over and over again, and it's very, very true. And when you dissect these failed businesses, you'll find that 29% of the time, these failed business owners will list that they simply ran out of cash. And that makes it the second most common reason that businesses will go under, right behind not having enough customers. And most people never really see what happens to these failed business owners. They just see the signs taken down at a location one day, and they think that situation is more like a video game. But, as my work as a CPA, I have to file the tax returns for these business owners for, at least a year or two after these businesses go under. And I see what actually happens to these business owners after they go out of business. And Clay, I can tell you the results they're actually pretty ugly. There's significant life savings that are lost, families break up, and significant mental health concerns, become the norm. So, not knowing your numbers has catastrophic consequences to most entrepreneurs.
You help your clients with accounting, which is cool. But you also help them a little bit more than just accounting. You don't do just accounting. Can you explain what you would do if you're sitting down with one of your clients who is refusing to track their numbers? I mean, how does that conversation go? Let's pretend for a moment that you're talking to one of your clients who's a newer client, and they just will not track their numbers. What kind of a coaching and mentorship do you provide people?
I mean, the most important thing that we're going to do is we're just going to set those appointments. We're going to block them into those appointments. So before a client leaves our office, we're usually going to set that very next appointment because that's the hardest thing that they're going to have trouble with, right? From there, we're going to actually, pretty much dissect their personal financial situation. We do what's called a financial plan for the business owners, and it's different than the financial plan that a regular investment advisor would give you. It's really specifically designed for an entrepreneur because the household finances are going to greatly affect the business owner. So we're going to dissect those personal financial circumstances for the business owner, and then we're going to, from there, once we understand what we have available to work with, then we're going to dive into a business plan for those business owners.
Okay, so if you're out there listening today, you own a business, and you don't know your numbers. What's going to happen, Sperl? What's going to happen if they don't know their numbers?
You're often just going to make poor choices. So, for example, you're going to decide to hire this employee, or you're going to decide to lay someone off, or buy a piece of equipment, or get into a lease that you can't afford. It's going to cause you to make decisions that are going to cause you to run out of cash. Again, which is the second most common reason why businesses are going to go under.
Okay, now I want to talk about this next idea. You have been doing this so long. You've been an accountant for so long. You've actually made a list of the 10 biggest mistakes that small business owners make with their accounting. You've kind of a reverse top 10 list here. This is like the bad 10. Walk us through your top 10 list of the biggest mistakes that most small business owners make with their accounting.
So let's go with number one. I kind of alluded to it already. The most common mistake I see is probably a mistake that's affecting every area of their business, and it's that they cannot keep appointments. And this includes keeping appointments with themselves and their accountant to review their numbers. My millionaire clients, they rarely miss appointments. But I had a client, for example, one of my millionaire clients, he was in the midst of selling his business for a 7-figure deal, and he was having some sort of kidney issue that was causing swelling all over his body. And he gets out of the hospital and shows up to my office looking like Rocky rather than, miss an appointment with his accountant. But mind you have broke clients who, they have come down with the sniffles, or they have every emergency that you can imagine that prevents them from, keeping appointments.
Oh, Jason, you know part of you wants to laugh right now because it is so true.
Well, part of me also wants to go, Adrian.
You've seen this, Breck. Breck, how many
absolutely.
Sick days do you give yourself per year, Breck?
None. 0.
Interesting. So it's interesting, though, that some people want to be successful entrepreneurs. They want to be successful entrepreneurs, but they want to call in sick. They want to miss appointments. So if that's you.
It's that same drive that gave Josh the initiative to get a rental car and drive down from Minnesota here.
That's what I told John. I said, John, because Sperl wanted to work with me personally, and I said, I'll work with him. And John said, why? And I go, because he drove from Minnesota.
Yeah.
And John's like, 100% I agree with you, man.
He found a way. He made it happen. I mean, some people come up with solutions. Some people just complain.
We have a small city called Bixby, which is located 15 minutes away, Sperl, from our conference center in Jinx. Yep. Totally true story. About 4 months ago, so 2 conferences ago, we had a guy who showed up about 45 minutes late to session 1. And after we only do 50-minute sessions and we take a break for 10 minutes. He comes up to me and he's like, dude, you're really hammering people for being late. And I didn't appreciate that because I live in Bixby. And I got a little bit lost, and it was like, and because the first session we talk about the uncoachable mindsets and we talk about the importance of honoring your commitments and being on time. It just so happened that he walked in during the part, Jason, you've seen this before.
Oh, yeah.
Nothing's more awkward than when a guy shows up late to a conference where we're teaching time management at 7:40 in the morning. I mean, it's brutal. And so he went off on this tangent about how I was being mean to him. And I said, what's your business background? And we started talking. He's failed at one business. He's failed at another. And I said, you probably just need to leave, man. This is like a full contact sport. This is like business football, and if you're worried about getting your feelings hurt, I mean, this is not the place for you. So let's talk about the biggest mistake number 2, Josh Spurl.
So the biggest mistake number 2 is a pretty simple one, but just not having separate business and personal accounts. It's just going to make your life more complex. It's going to create more errors. And in my experience, that it causes you to lose credibility with any government auditor. Any transaction that could go either way. If you haven't demonstrated the discipline to separate your business and personal accounts, again, you'll just lose credibility with any audit sort of procedure.
Okay, so let's move on to dysfunction number 3.
Dysfunction number 3, I'm going to break the hearts of all the software providers because they will, vehemently disagree with me on this one, but it's using accounting software too early. So if you're a solopreneur, all you need to do is keep separate business accounts. Print your statements out once a month, review them, make notes on them, hand those statements into your accountant at the end of the year. And if you don't have enough work yet to hire your first employee, you need to be spending more time selling rather than learning QuickBooks.
Have you, Jason, have you ever had a meeting where you've worked with a client and they discovered they had no money? Has this ever happened to you?
Yeah, and it's awkward.
So let me give you an example of the worst situation I've ever seen, Spurl. I was working with a cosmetic surgeon years ago, and this guy was doing about as much revenue as you're doing, okay? I mean, we're talking, he was doing well, right? Yeah. And he had just bought himself a new house. He was doing well. Luxury car. Mm-hmm. Leads coming in. And his card got declined for the monthly charge. And I said, hey, man, maybe we need to get a different card on file. Maybe the card expired. And he goes, okay. So he gives me he sends me back, hey, you use this card. Doesn't go through. And you could sense kind of a panic in his voice. And I said, what's going on? He's like, I don't know. So his assistant, who I worked very closely with, he tasked her with figuring out where the bank statement was. No exaggeration. Homeboy was owed over $500,000 from insurance companies. Mm-hmm. But in his accounting system, he was using accrual-based accounting, Josh, where he was factoring in his lifestyle based upon how much money Can you explain the difference between cash-based accounting and accrual? Because this guy thought he had about $500,000 in his bank account, and he had like $500 in his account. And I had to point out to him, this was bad, because he used his numbers to get a bank loan for a big house. And he found out that he didn't mean to, but he had actually lied to the lenders because he told them he had a cash balance of this much, but he actually had a cash balance of this much. Explain what the difference is between accrual and cash-based and how people can screw up that kind of accounting.
Well, if you're, for example, let's talk about a revenue transaction. So if you're looking straight on the bank statement, you're not going to count it in a cash-based system until that deposit hits the bank statement. But in an accrual system, you're going to book the receivable. That income is going to show up on your profit and loss, and things look great, but it kind of disregards the fact that was that actual revenue collected or even collectible, period.
Okay, what is our next dysfunction, my friend?
So it kind of goes hand in hand with that example you're just talking about. Is once you have employees not hiring an accountant or a professional bookkeeper to help them during the year, the software companies make you think that the programs are easy to learn, but that's a lie. They just want to sell you the program. I hire university graduates with 4-year degrees, and I would estimate it takes a minimum of a year working with me full time before I'm somewhat happy with their level of competency. But yet we get these business owners who think they can learn accounting, or their spouse can learn accounting in a weekend. I mean, it's not uncommon for us to get a business owner who has a spouse who quits their job, bringing in $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 a month into the house to quote unquote do the books. Then we take a look at the work they're doing, and we have to tell them that we can do a better job for $200 to $300 a month.
Oh boy, those are fighting words right there.
Yeah,
I see this all the time. I see it where it's the husband of the entrepreneur quits his job to quote unquote help do the books,
and he doesn't want to do the books.
And the one thing he doesn't do is the books, which creates all of the problems. So it'd be better just for your spouse to keep that job, or to just pay him $3,000 a month to do nothing.
Stay away.
And hire an accounting firm. So let's talk about this now. Move number 4. What's the fourth dysfunction?
I believe that was 4, so I think we're on to 5.
Oh, number 5. We're on to number 5 here. Okay. So what's dysfunction number 5 this just in?
So dysfunction number 5 is not reconciling all those accounts. Going back to your surgeon there, who didn't realize how much money you had in his account, but you've got to reconcile those accounts in the software. And you should be reconciling them each and every time you do payroll. So I see people that are reconciling accounts at different times that they're running payroll, and that makes no sense to me whatsoever. You want to reconcile your accounts before you run payroll to make sure you actually have enough money to meet the payroll. Let's start there. And so if you're paying people weekly, you need to reconcile the accounts weekly or biweekly. At a minimum biweekly if you're paying people biweekly.
You are dropping some serious knowledge bombs. What's the next dysfunction?
So once you have employees, so you have this accounting software working, you need to be reviewing a 6-month comparative balance sheet. And you should be looking at this balance sheet before you look at your profit and loss statement. Business owners, they always want to look at their profit and loss, but unfortunately the mistakes, they're usually hiding on the balance sheet, and they're obvious. Once you review that balance sheet, you start to gain a level of comfort with that balance sheet. You're going to start to identify these anomalies, and if you see these anomalies, you know that the profit and loss that you could be using to make significant business decisions, could be completely out of whack.
Well, and Josh, I would assume you can also see those trends much earlier.
You can, yeah. Those comparative numbers. People are looking at these balance sheets. Just one balance sheet, 1 month, one moment in time. It's very, very difficult to see the anomalies. But if you look at a 6-month comparative balance sheet and they have 6 months worth of numbers and 6 totals, you start to see those anomalies. You don't have to be a CPA to see them. They start to become obvious.
What is our next dysfunction, my friend?
So the next dysfunction is the same thing where we looked at the balance sheet 6-month comparative. We should also look at the income statement. We're talking about interim financial statements. So this is the financial statements that are coming out of your QuickBooks software. We should be looking at a 6-month comparative profit and loss statement, because we don't have the same level of due diligence that goes into interim financial statements, whether you're doing them yourself or even if you're having an accountant help you with them. Year-end statements get a whole heap of extra due diligence in their work done to make sure that information is correct. But interim financial statements don't have that. So by having a 6-month comparative profit and loss statement, you'll be able to recognize the anomalies yourself and start to understand if this information is accurate enough to make major business decisions on.
Okay. So now, if I'm listening here, and I don't like this, I'm saying I don't like it. I mean, this is all. I mean, we're talking about accounting, and I'm going, I'm like, come on, really? I mean, I'm talking about business here, because I think a lot of people view business as just offense. They go, let's talk about vision. Let's talk about marketing. Let's talk about sales, vision, marketing, sales, vision, marketing, sales, entrepreneurship. Woo! Vision, your purpose. Find your why. Don't be a B player, be an A player. Find your why. Woo! Breck, you've seen this.
Oh, yeah.
People view, when they talk about entrepreneurship, Jason.
Yep.
Do you have a lot of your clients that want a hard charge into accounting? They're like, hey, let's start off this meeting by, first off, let's grab a beer, then let's talk about accounting. I mean, do people get really fired up about accounting?
Like I said, out of my 20 clients, I have 2 where they immediately want to talk about their accounting so they can get it out of the way. Everybody else is just like, yeah, so about that logo update that we were talking about.
So people want to hide behind logo updates and branding and marketing pieces.
Yep.
And not talk about accounting.
Every time.
But again, if we're playing football, you got offense, you got defense, and you got special teams. So the way I look at it is offense is marketing and sales and branding. Defense is accounting and legal compliance. And special teams is that special service or product that you provide. That's the product or service you provide. That's the special teams. Josh, why do people want to avoid accounting so much? What is it?
It's complicated, and I think a lot of times they make it overly complicated. And it's like anything else. When things aren't going so well, they want to stick their head in the sand and pretend nothing's wrong.
So let's talk about dysfunction. Our next dysfunction, my friend. What number are we on? Are we on number 8?
Number 8.
Oh, yeah.
So, and this will help. This number 8 is going to help the client who doesn't want to deal with their accounting. But, most clients, they come to us and they have way too many accounts on their chart of accounts. You know, they have a profit and loss statement that's 2, 3, 4, 5 pages long. And the more accounts that you have, the more costly it is to maintain the accounting records. And, you know, the more time you're going to have to spend reviewing these records in order to make business decisions. And most people just keep adding these accounts, and all it ends up with is extensive classification errors. You know, for example, let's say someone buys ink one year, and one year they classify that ink as ink expense, and the next year they classify it as an office supplies. And then you end up with these variances period over period, month over month, year over year. And you think that they're variances, but in all reality, they're just classification differences.
Breck, you're in the process of buying a building.
Yes.
When you went to buy a building, did they just let you get a loan to buy a building without looking at your financials, or does somebody have to look at your financials?
Someone has to look at your financials. Yeah.
You mean they just won't go in there and fist bump you?
No, they don't just hand you money on a smile and a wink.
Now, I'm sure, Josh, I'm sure you've never seen this before, but I think a lot of entrepreneurs never want to do accounting until they have to.
Yeah.
You know, they want to sell their company, and now they have to look at the numbers for the first time in a decade. They want to buy a building, and now they have to look at the numbers for the first time in a decade. They want to get a mortgage, so they have to look at the numbers for the first time in a decade. Can you talk about if somebody was your client, can you work with American clients, or do you just work with Canadian clients?
Well, we can work with American clients on the bookkeeping end, but not on the tax end.
Why
so
not?
The bookkeeping end is
Why
very
not?
similar.
Why not?
Well, I'm at this point very proficient in Canadian tax, but trying to know, it's like anything. You can do something really well, or you can do a lot of things just okay. So I'm really good at the Canadian tax end.
Why don't you move down here?
Well, if they keep not building pipelines, then we might have another discussion on that.
Listen. You said that you're proficient in the Canadian accounting, and you're not proficient in the American accounting, and that is is that your reason for not coming down here for doing the taxes of Americans? So if people want to hire you, you won't take them on right now. You will not do it.
We can do bookkeeping for U.S. clients, but we wouldn't be able to look at their taxation issues for American clients.
What do you mean? What do you mean by that?
So bookkeeping, so the regular interim financial reports, a business owner hires a bookkeeper, and then usually they pass it off to an accountant at year-end who can do the year-end taxes.
So there's not a chance. You will not take anybody who wants to be there's Americans right now who are dissatisfied with their accountants. Breck, have you ever had a bad accountant?
I have, yes.
So in preparation, Josh, you are trying to fill our minds with excuses saying that you don't want to take our American money. So what I'm going to do is I have been practicing the Canadian national anthem. And I'm going to cue it up, and I'm going to sing along, and I'm willing to. I was willing to invest the time needed to learn this incredible song. And you are not willing to learn our tax code. That's a bunch of crap, because your song is about 1 minute and 27 seconds long, right? And I have taken the at least 10 to 15 minutes to learn your song, and you will not take even the thousands of hours needed to learn our thousands of pages of tax code. And I call that as crap. So let me cue up your anthem here. Let me cue this up. I've got it. Let me get it here. Let me try it. This is a State Farm commercial, which is not
like your house.
the Canadian
That's
national
being
anthem.
burglarized. They're stealing
Just to
your
clear up
TV
any
right
confusion there. I know some people think that
It's a
State
bear.
Farm is very influential up there.
You need
Let
a
me cue it up
vacation.
here.
They're also red
Chris,
and white.
some of us don't have an all-season.
Yeah, the red and white theme, yes. It could be. Here we go.
Please remain standing for the singing of O Canada, led by Universal Music, multi-platinum selling recording artists, Clifton, Fraser, and Victor, the Tenors.
Now, real quick, is the Tenors a vocal group that matters up in Canada?
Oh, yeah.
I have no idea who
What?
they are.
You've never heard of the Canadian Tenors? You're from Canada. Come on.
Real quick, Josh is absolutely full of crap up there. Let me tell you what. The next election, Drake will be the president, and the Tenors will be the vice president. You have a prime minister, though, right?
Yeah, former drama teacher.
Okay, let me hit. Well, he's done a great job creating drama. Here we go. Come on, Sproul, you're moving here. everybody some cowbell there. Thou dost in us command. Uh-oh. He's changing it up. Crap. Justin Bieber. No pipelines. We don't have enough money for a military. We love Drake and Bieber. We borrowed Kawhi for a season. Then he went to warm weather to flee. Oh, here we go, Squirrel. Oh, wow. On. Oh, he's taking it home. Yes, yes. Need more cowbell on track. He's coming down to America, folks. We've sold him. He's coming down to America. Squirrel, welcome. When are you? Oh, the Tenors. We did it. We did that for you. So when are you coming down here?
I appreciate. So I can guarantee you that I will devote at least 1 minute and 27 seconds to learning U.S.
All right. So what is the next dysfunction?
So now you have this well-organized chart of accounts that a profit and loss statement. You can stick it on one page.
Yep.
But now you got to take that profit and loss statement and order it in numerically descending order. A lot of accountants will order things in alphabetical order, but you should order it in numerical descending order, because most businesses, they're going to be won and lost in their revenue, cost of products sold, direct labor, rent, and admin labor accounts. Most of the other accounts are about optimization. They're not going to be the difference between winning and losing. Yet you're going to find the business owners, they're not generating any sales. They're not making any money off of each new transaction. And they're spending an inordinate amount of time on trying to minimize their phone bill or reducing their interest and bank charges. And then I got to sit with them in a meeting and tell them, hey, look, the phone company could pay you $1,000 a month. You're still going out of business.
I agree, but let me hammer home why. As an example, for my business, for my life, for what I do, my biggest expense is labor. And that's going to hover for most of my companies. I like to keep that around 35%. All right?
Yep.
So I just looked at the numbers last week, and for one company, we hit 38%. It went up. Well, what happened is that I'm not sure what happens up there in Canada, but in America, during the month of December, a lot of entrepreneurs are trying to find, write-offs. So they'll ask me, they're like, hey, can you guys write 500 pages of content for my website this month? And so we have a lot more labor-intensive activities being ramrodded through the final month of the year. So when it went up, my wife said, hey, it went up 3%. I wasn't scared because I was aware of the trend within the business.
Right.
But she pointed out to me, hey, it did go up 3%. And I said, well, that's because that's a service we're doing that's labor-based. She goes, okay, cool, I just wanted you to know. But if you don't have that as your labor's at the top, and let's say your second biggest expense is your office space or your rent or something. If you're not aware of those things, you will spend all your time on whatever you see first on the statement.
Right.
So I see people all the time who are beating up their vendors over $1,000 charge when their biggest issue is their labor. So that is powerful. Now, I think you have one final dysfunction we want to hit here. This is dysfunction number 10. And what famous Canadian would you like to dedicate this to?
The famous Canadian that we're going to dedicate it to, maybe it's our old Prime Minister, Stephen Harper, when we had an economist as the Prime Minister rather than a drama teacher. We'll donate. We'll give it to him.
Does the average person up there, is over half the population in favor of socialism up there? What percentage of the Canadian population is a jackass?
Well, the current government in power actually lost the popular vote in the last election. So they were not actually the most popular party, but it's it's based on the riding system. So if you win enough of the ridings, you're in power regardless of the popular vote.
Okay. All right. Okay. So number 10. What is the final dysfunction here?
So it's thinking that minimizing your advertising expenses is a good idea. We found that anything less than 2% of revenue will more often than not result in a contraction of revenue year over year. And this is 2% of revenue on real advertising expenses like Google ads, ad roll retargeting, YouTube ads, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn advertising. This isn't the wine of the month club or sponsoring a kid's soccer team. This is real advertising expenses, at least 2% of your revenue. This is not where you should be pinching pennies.
Michael Levine, the former PR consultant of choice for Nike, for Prince, for Michael Jackson, for Pizza Hut, big brands, he talks about how aggressive growth companies spend 10% of their revenue on marketing and advertising, and companies that just don't want to shrink need to spend at least 2 to 5%. So you're in the same conversation here. Now, we have a question from a listener, Josh, who's from Russia, and I'd like Jason to read the question. He is from Russia, and he wrote us via email. And so, Jason, could you read the email?
Yeah. Wait, the revised or the actual email?
Read the actual email.
Okay.
And then you can kind of break it down so I get it.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So he says, first of all, if there were a chance, tell Clay that his podcast helps me to chin up like TD Jakes.
Wait a second. You're doing this crap where you're not using your Russian accent. You have to use the Russian accent.
Thought about it.
You have the ability to do it, and it's getting better with each time. So please, like a fine wine, he gets better over time. So please try to read your stereotypical Russian accent, please.
All right. Daniil, I apologize in advance.
Okay.
First of all, if there were a chance, tell Clay that his podcast helps me to chin up like TD Jakes does for him. I'm a humble student from Yekaterinburg, Russia.
Sure, sounds right.
But striving to achieve my goals. Got up today at 5 a.m., so can't send a high five message as don't live in USA. Tell him if possible also. Start here and Jackassery were miraculous. That's why I found out time to read this one. And probably would read search engine domination as very interested in it, but can't fathom it during podcast. So he was saying, first of all, if it's possible, tell Clay that his podcast helps me to get motivated, much like TD Jakes does for him.
Cool. That's awesome. And what's his name again?
His name is Daniil.
Daniil, I appreciate you saying that. I'm glad that you have suffered through 2 of my books, Start Here and Jackassery.
Yeah.
Many people all around the country, all around the world actually, are buying that book. Sproul, have you read Jackassery or Start Here?
I've read, both of them actually.
Which one did you like the best and why?
I like to Start Here. It's pretty comprehensive.
Did you laugh when you read Jackassery?
What's that, sorry?
Did you laugh when you read Jackassery? Did it make you laugh?
Yeah, there's some good stories in there.
But Start Here is your favorite one.
Start Here has a huge amount of content from a lot of resources. I think it is kind of an all-encompassing book that you designed it to be.
Okay, let's continue. So, Jason, continue reading.
Oh, okay, and then he says, just breaking it down, he is a humble student in Russia, and he's striving to achieve his goals. He got up at 5 a.m., and he wanted to, I believe this is a callback to one of your previous episodes where you said if you wake up early, you'd send people a virtual high five.
Yeah, do it. If you wake up at 5, okay, what you want to do, get up at 5, and then tweet at me. It's a Twitter. It's Twitter.com/the Clay Clark. Just tweet at me. High five at 5 a.m. You got to get that going.
I want to give him extra props because 5 a.m. in Russia is like, I don't know, 1 o'clock here. Or like, 8 o'clock p.m. the day before.
Yeah, he's almost in the future.
Yeah. He is in the future. Now, what's the next portion of his email?
Let's see. So he's breaking down how much he loves the books, and he's interested in search engine domination to read next, but it's something he can't quite fathom yet.
Yep.
And then, okay, so going back to the accent. Again, Daniil, I apologize.
No, Daniil, I did not apologize. This is how we think you sound. Yeah. And then if you guys, I would like for Daniil to record a show where Daniil, get out your phone and record. I want you to imitate Americans. And you send me that audio, and I'll play it on the show because I know that there's
awesome.
I would love because everybody can imitate Arnold Schwarzenegger. Like everyone has their own Arnold. Even if it's not
me.
Exactly. Everybody can go. Everyone can say, "You got to pump it up. You got to move your body." We all can kind of do that, but he can't imitate the average American. Because if he did, as governor, he might want to. He struggles still to say the word California.
That's true.
Governor of California. Anyway, continue, Jason.
All right. In the previous message, you told me that it's possible to ask a question for Ask Clay Anything category, and maybe Clay will answer it. So I have read books of Seth Godin, Purple Cow, Unleash Idea Virus, Bootstraps, Permission Marketing, Stop Stealing Dreams, and he preaches that cold calling and stuff like this is useless. But Clay vouches that it's essential. Can't disagree with Clay. I like that he put that in parentheses.
Okay, so let's do this real quick. Spurl, how did you go out and get your first 10 clients?
Well, let's break down the cold calling. So, my first business was a construction business, and it looked like opening up the phone book and calling people. So, in terms of cold calling, I think it's still a viable option. On the accounting practice, it was more going to networking events, gathering the cards, immediately calling them up and booking out the consults. So,
now let's talk about this for a second, and I want to make sure that I'm not attacking Seth Godin, who is so we appreciate him being on the show, and I love his books.
Yeah.
What happens is you are. This is Daniil how I would explain it. Imagine that you have a tool. You're like a handyman, and you have a bunch of tools, and you've got a hammer, and a screwdriver, and a tape measure, and so you got a hammer, screwdriver, and tape measure. For certain jobs, a hammer is needed. For certain tasks, a hammer is needed. For certain tasks, a screwdriver is needed. So if you said, Clavis, I need you to screw in this outlet. The screw came loose on the outlet. Can you screw it in? And I go, yep, let me get my hammer. And you're like, I don't think that's going to go well. And I poof, 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 and I break it. That's not a move.
Right.
But if you said, could you screw this in? I got a screwdriver. That makes sense. So Seth Godin, a lot of what he teaches is cold calling maybe isn't applicable for certain things he's referencing. But I can tell you Redmond Growth is a company that is built entirely based upon word of mouth and cold calling. The entire organization, Redmond Growth, is built based upon word of mouth and cold calling. I can say Elephant in the Room is not based on cold calling.
No,
but we started with cold calling, and now as we're going into Oklahoma City and expanding, we are doing more cold calling as well. We're just calling random people in Oklahoma City and giving them free haircuts.
Yeah, from the phone book.
And we're still doing it now. So I would just say, let's not get hung up on Seth Godin says, don't make cold calls. Clay Clark does. I would just say, Seth Godin and Clay Clark each teach you tools. And because I've been coaching clients now since really 2008, 9, and now we're 2020, I've been doing this for 11 years, and I don't think Seth Godin has worked with 160 simultaneous clients, whereas he's worked with different industries and different niches. So I think his experience is different. Breck, how did you go out there and get your first 10 clients?
So mine was a little bit more like Josh, as he's talking about the accounting practice. It was more of warm calling. So doing some networking, getting some cards, and then having to follow up, in a sense, sort of like cold calling, but I call it warm calling. So you have a little bit of a connection. Maybe it's a friend of a friend or some kind of, so many degrees of separation, but you're still having to kind of go out there and work. But, I would say chiropractic, as a rule, is probably not the best industry for cold calling, but there are definitely some that's going to be a bigger factor depending on what you're doing. Some people don't know that they need your service, and so cold calling may be the very thing that helps get them in the door.
So, again, if you're out there, Daniil, and you're asking, should I make cold calls or not, each industry is different. Jason, can you think of one of your clients right now that doesn't make cold calls at all and is very successful and does not make cold calls ever?
So I work with a garage in Massachusetts, and they don't do cold calls at all.
Angel's Touch Auto Body Repair. People seek them.
Yep.
People Google them when they are looking for automotive repair. Whereas most people are not looking for – Josh, why are most people not actually out there looking typically for an accountant? Why are they just – why do most people just stick with their same accountant? Even if the relationship's dysfunctional, why do most people stick with their accountant?
It's a hassle to change, really. So it's a lot of work to change.
So I love cold calling for accountants because you call and you get a hold of the small business owner and you say, this is a script. I'll cold call you, Jason, okay?
All right.
Let's pretend that you own a roofing company.
Cool.
Hey, is this Jason?
It is. Who is this?
Jason, this is Clay Clark with Spurl CPAs America. the real edition, where we spent thousands of hours learning the American tax code. And so we moved here. We actually used to be in Canada. Are you familiar with our American accounting practice?
No, but that sounds impressive.
Hey, on a scale of 1 to 10, seriously, 10 being the best, 1 being the worst, how highly would you rank your current accounting firm in terms of their quality, accuracy, your happiness with them?
I'd say a 3.
3?
Yeah.
What does a 10 look like in your mind?
Well, I mean, my current guy doesn't really meet me regularly. I'm very confused by the time we get done with it. So somebody who kind of just like walks me through what all of these things mean and how I can get a better grasp of my accounting.
Well, I have a thing right now called the $100 guarantee. It's I'm going to meet you for 1 hour.
Okay.
I'm going to pay you $100 for the first meeting, and I guarantee you I'll save you at least $100 a month on your taxes. Would you like to meet for an hour? I'll pay you. I'll give you $100 cash when I get there, and I'll meet you for an hour, and I will find where I can save you at least $100 a month.
I would be an idiot not to accept that.
Spurl, don't you think almost if anybody out there is listening who's listening from Canada reached out to you, you could save them at least $100 a month within just 1 hour of meeting with them?
Most of the time, people have very poor tax planning. So most of the time, you would find at least $100 a month in savings.
That's the kind of pitch that works.
Yeah,
so
right.
that pitch works very well for that industry. Now, if you're out there listening today and you want to learn more about Josh Spurl, Josh, are you going to offer our guests anything, or is there a place people can go to learn more about you, or what is the action step that you would request from our 500,000 listeners?
I mean, the 500,000 listeners, if you want the advice that we have, we could probably, direct you to our YouTube channel. So Spurl and Associates, I think we got over 160 videos up there now, which is good quality business information. Whether you're in the U.S. or Canada, they both work. Or on the website will be spurl.ca.
Awesome. Well, I tell you what, if you're listening right now from Russia, I appreciate you, and I want you to know that Rocky IV was the best Rocky out there. And, just because Ivan Drago, one of the main characters in that movie, killed our Apollo, it doesn't mean we're bitter.
No, not bitter. Still sad, just not bitter.
And just because I personally don't like Putin, it doesn't mean I don't like you, Daniil. So I think you're a great future American. Spurl, you keep up the fight up there, my friend, and may the pipeline be opened in the future. Is there any chance at all of them allowing oil production to happen again?
They're saying they're going to build this pipeline, but it's been years in the making. But we'll see.
The pipeline could actually be built, though, like in 6 months, right? But it just takes years of bureaucracy to get through it.
Years of bureaucracy, yep.
Oh, man. Well, Spurl, I appreciate you so much. Hope you have fun. And you said you're in Vancouver, right?
Vancouver right now, yep.
And educate our listeners. Where is that in relationship to, let's say, New York?
Vancouver is just kind of right above Seattle.
Okay, so far west Canada. And then where's Edmonton as it relates to, let's say, New York?
Well, think of Montana and then drive north from the Montana border for about 8 to 10 hours, and that's Edmonton. It's the most northerly city in North America with more than 1 million people.
How many people live up there?
Edmonton, there's just over a million, 1.3 in the greater Edmonton area, so similar size to Tulsa.
And don't you homies have the biggest mall in the world up there?
I think it's slightly smaller than the Mall of America now. I think you guys just looked at it and thought, we don't want to lose these Canadians, so built an extra wing on or something like that. But yeah, it's pretty much one of the biggest malls in North America.
We are a competitive bunch.
Hey, are you aware? Yeah. Are you aware how cold it is up there? I mean, are you aware, or is your body unable to process cold weather?
I'm kind of a polar bear. Doesn't bother me at all, actually.
What was the coldest temperature this year that you can remember, and how many years of your life have you played hockey?
The coldest temperature this year. So I mean, global warming. I guess it is a thing. We can see it, and I'm continually idling my vehicle to try to accelerate the process a little bit. But I think that this year it was only about. I think we maybe had minus 25 or something like that.
That's not so bad.
I've seen what minus 50 looks like. Let's put it that way.
How many years of your life have you played hockey? I'm just breaking down stereotypes real quick before I let you go.
Breaking down stereotypes. So I guess maybe the first 23 years of my life, I played serious hockey. So that stereotype's going to hold true here on that one.
Give me one stereotype or two stereotypes, and I'll let you go, that most Canadians believe about Americans that might be true, but just stereotypes where we go, because we assume you love Bieber, you love Drake, you all play hockey, you
What's
love
your
Molson.
favorite maple syrup?
Oh, see, exactly. So what's the stereotype that you guys all have about Americans?
That we have about Americans?
Yeah, the
that
average person.
Americans think that we live in igloos, I think would be the the stereotype.
Nice. Well, I appreciate you so much, my friend. Have a great rest of your day, and we'll talk to you soon.
You too, guys. Thanks very much.
See you, boss.
Take care.
Bye.
But that Clay Clark, man, he is one character.
It's a good word for him.
Character.
Character. Yeah, that is it.
Good, driven, smart. And I've never met a guy who was so hyper all the time. He's doing so much good. And then I met his mother, and she just says, she just lets him be Clay Clark. I mean, so he's endorsed by his mother, and he's doing magnificent work. So it was great meeting you out there and all the people that he surrounds himself with. Clay Clark starts his days at 5 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, it's incredible. Yeah, he's a machine. He's a machine.
Yeah. But his, I have problems with my company starting at 9 o'clock. Yes, hundreds of people showing up at 5 a.m. in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Man, he's a leader of a leader. He's a fantastic young man.
Oh, he is.
My name is Kevin Thomas, and the name of our company is MultiClean. We are a commercial janitorial service, and we serve the entire state of Oklahoma and Kansas and soon to be Arkansas. We have probably grown 5 times. We've added, I think when we first started with you, we had 60 to 65 employees. And now we have a little over 300 employees. Before we got involved with Thrivetime, we didn't really have any systems or processes in place. So I've probably been to, in 6-7 years, I've probably been to 12 to 13 business conferences. And amazingly, each time I go, I learn something new, and I'm so excited to bring it back and show the team.
Hi, I'm Dr. Mark Moore. I'm a pediatric dentist. Through our new digital marketing plan, we have seen a marked increase in the number of new patients that we're seeing every month, year over year. One month, for example, we went from 110 new patients the previous year to over 180 new patients in the same month. And overall, our average is running about 40 to 42% increase month over month, year over year. The group of people required to implement our new digital marketing plan is immense, starting with a business coach, videographers, photographers, web designers. Back when I graduated dental school in 1985, nobody advertised. The only marketing that was ethically allowed in everybody's eyes was mouth-to-mouth marketing. By choosing to use the services, you're choosing to use a proven turnkey marketing and coaching system that will grow your practice and get you the results that you're looking for. I went to the University of Oklahoma College of Dentistry, graduated in 1983, and then I did my pediatric dental residency at Baylor College of Dentistry from 1983 to 1985.
Hello, my name is Charles Kolaw with Kolaw Fitness. Today I want to tell you a little bit about Clay Clark and how I know Clay Clark. Clay Clark has been my business coach since 2017. He's helped us grow from 2 locations to now 6 locations. We're planning to do 7 locations in 7 years and then franchise. And Clay has done a great job of helping us navigate anything that has to do with like running the business, building the systems, the checklists, the workflows, the audits, how to navigate lease agreements, how to buy property, how to work with brokers and builders. This guy is just amazing. He's this kind of guy has worked in every single industry. He's written books with like Lee Cockrell, head of Disney, with the 40,000 cast members. He's friends with like Mike Lindell. He does Reawaken America tours, where he does these tours all across the country where 10,000 or more people show up to some of these tours. On the day-to-day, he does anywhere from about 160 companies. He's at the top. He has a team of business coaches, videographers, and graphic designers and web developers, and they run 160 companies every single week. So think of this guy with a team of business coaches running 160 companies. So in the weekly, he's running 160 companies. Every 6 to 8 weeks, he's doing Reawaken America tours. Every 6 to 8 weeks, he's also doing business conferences where 200 people show up, and he teaches people a 13-step proven system that he's done and worked with billionaires, helping them grow their companies. So I've seen guys from startups go from startup to being multimillionaires, teaching people how to get time freedom and financial freedom through the system. Critical thinking, document creation, putting it into organizing everything in their head to building into a franchisable, scalable business. Like one of his businesses has like 500 franchises. That's just one of the companies or brands that he works with. So amazing guy, Elon Musk kind of like smart guy. He kind of comes off sometimes as socially awkward, but he's so brilliant and he's taught me so much. When I say that, like Clay is like, he doesn't care what people think when you're talking to him. He cares about where you're going in your life and where he can get you to go. And that's what I like most about him. He's like a good coach. A coach isn't just making you feel good all the time. A coach is actually helping you get to the best you. And Clay has been an amazing business coach. Through the course of that, we became friends. I was really most impressed with him is when I was shadowing him one time. We went into a business deal and listened to it. I got to shadow and listen to it. And when we walked out, I knew that he could make millions on the deal. And they were super excited about working with him. And he told me, he's like, I'm not going to touch it. I'm going to turn it down because he knew it was going to harm the common good of people in the long run. And the guy's integrity just really wowed me. It brought tears to my eyes to see that this guy, his highest desire was to do what's right. And anyways, just an amazing man. So anyways, impacted me a lot. He's helped navigate anytime I've got nervous or worried about how to run the company or, navigating competition and an economy that's like, I remember we got closed down for 3 months. He helped us navigate on how to stay open, how to get back open, how to just survive through all the COVID shutdowns, lockdowns, because our clubs were all closed for.
I'm Rachel with Tip Top Canine, and we just want to give a huge thank you to Clay and Vanessa Clark.
Hey guys, I'm Ryan with Tip Top Canine. Just want to say a big thank you to Thrive 15. Thank you to Make Your Life Epic. We love you guys, we appreciate you, and really just appreciate how far you've taken us. This is our old house, right? This is where we used to live a few years ago. This is our old neighborhood. As you can see, it's nice, right? So this is my old van and our old school marketing, and this is our old team. And by team, I mean it's me and another guy.
This is our new house with our new neighborhood. This is our new van with our new marketing, and this is our new team. We went from 4 to 14, and I took this beautiful photo. We worked with several different business coaches in the past, and they were all about helping Ryan sell better and just teaching sales, which is awesome, but Ryan is a really great salesman. So we didn't need that. We needed somebody to help us get everything that was in his head out into systems, into manuals and scripts, and actually build a team. So now that we have systems in place, we've gone from 1 to 10 locations in only a year.
In October 2016, we grossed 13 grand for the whole month. Right now it's 2018, the month of October. It's only the 22nd. We've already grossed a little over 50 grand for the whole month, and we still have time to go. We're just thankful for you, thankful for Thrive and your mentorship, and we're really thankful that you guys have helped us to grow a business that we run now instead of the business running us. Just thank you times 1,000.
The Thrivetime Show, 2-day interactive business workshops, are the highest and most reviewed business workshops on the planet.
You can learn the proven 13-point business systems that Dr. Zellner and I have used over and over to start and grow successful companies. I mean, we get into the specific steps on what you need to do to optimize your website. We're going to teach you how to fix your conversion rate. We're going to teach you how to do a social media marketing campaign that works. How do you raise capital? How do you get a small business loan? We teach you everything you need to know here during a 2-day, 15-hour workshop. It's all here for you. You work every day in your business, but for 2 days you can escape and work on your business and build these proven systems so now you can have a successful company that will produce both the time freedom and the financial freedom that you deserve. You're going to leave energized, motivated, but you're also going to leave empowered. The reason why I've built these workshops is because as an entrepreneur, I always wish that I had this. And because there wasn't anything like this, I would go to these motivational seminars, no money down, real estate, Ponzi scheme, get motivated seminars, and they would never teach me anything. It was like you went there and you paid for the big chocolate Easter bunny, but inside of it, it was a hollow nothingness. And I wanted the knowledge, and they're like, oh, but we'll teach you the knowledge after our next workshop. And the great thing is we have nothing to upsell. At every workshop, we teach you what you need to know. There's no one in the back of the room trying to sell you some next big get-rich-quick, walk-on-hot-coals product. It's literally, we teach you the brass tacks, the specific stuff that you need to know to learn how to start and grow a business. And I encourage you to not believe what I'm saying, and I want you to Google the Z66 auto auction. I want you to Google elephant in the room. Look at Robert Zellner and Associates. Look them up and say, are they successful because they're geniuses, or are they successful because they have a proven system? When you do that research, you will discover that the same systems that we use in our own business can be used in your business. Come to Tulsa, book a ticket, and I guarantee you it's going to be the best business workshop ever, and we'll even give you your money back if you don't love it. We've built this facility for you, and we're excited to see you.